And we're back with like the I don't even know. I don't even have words. I had to jump on. Obviously, I've done a couple videos covering this. Um but this has been probably the most wild Hollywood crime mystery, whatever you want to call it, that we've had so far this year. Because it couldn't get any crazier, as if, right? But I'll give you guys a few minutes to roll in here. What's up, Lindsay? What's going on? Go play outside. Deborah Sims, welcome, guys. Give it a couple minutes. I been getting throttled like 90 here, so some people aren't getting the notifications. I was trying to just search one of the newer videos actually just to see how it looked. Pardon me, on the search, and literally searching like Nick Reiner arrested and then my username. It's nowhere. Like, I'd have to keep scrolling. I couldn't see it. So I don't know if that's happening on your end, guys. Like, I think it's pretty much just word of mouth or whoever's already just here at this point, as far as the suggestibility and visibility. But we'll give you, like I said, another minute or two, and before we jump right into the details. But how's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling about this? Like, obviously, if you've watched the couple videos I've done so far, you guys have an idea of how I'm feeling about it and what my figuring is about it. And go figure, the fact that I had just been, I just wrote that article, and I've just been kind of like formulating this theory about some of the imagery and the common themes in film that seems to suggest something. Based on the creative works of others that have been convicted of something. I obviously got to be careful. That's maybe part of why I'm getting throttled. I've been getting like some threatening messages in some ways, and different things kind of popping off a little bit with regards to one of the other cases I've been covering. So I mean, this year could, like I said, couldn't get any more wild if we tried. But I think, like, in almost every case, like, in a very high percentage of, when it comes to parenticide, there generally was some kind of complex or severe trauma in childhood, I think and I'm seeing, like, so many more people now are so much more informed when it comes to complex traumas, what the root cause of addictions are. It's more of a self-medication and coping mechanism rather than it being like its own disease. And generally the root cause being, of course, trauma. And with the parenticide thing, it does show like there's some kind of severe or prolonged, and whether it's, mental, physical, who knows, it almost is feeling to me in my gut. Like, I'm trying to trust my gut more now, because in so many cases we've covered it after the fact. I don't go all the way there. I won't say exactly what I'm thinking, because it is pretty outlandish. But in almost every case, it's been true. Like with the Ruby Frankie thing, when I was digging into the Amanda Bynes and the Drake Bell stuff, Brian Peck, that whole den of people. When I was digging into all of that, I would have inklings and stuff, and I would say things about it, and like I had made predictions about certain things that ended up being true. So I am kind of trying to go more just straight with my gut on this, and it does feel a lot like a Menendez brothers type situation, and maybe even possibly a bit like a like Donnie Darko plotline, big reveal at the end situation almost. Like, I don't want to accuse or say anybody's guilty of anything or done anything before tried in the court of law and decided in the court of law, of course. But I'm kind of feeling like the fact that they had already had him in custody. They were already questioning him, and then they were waiting for a warrant. Like, what more would they have needed from that house? So my guess, and, okay, let me not get too ahead of myself. I got some clips. I got some stuff lined up. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat for a second here while we're getting people rocking and rolling in. Hey, Crowos. Good to see ya. Grace McNamara. Welcome. Intuition is our inner guidance system. Yeah, for sure. And there's so many things, like with the Ruby Frankie thing. Like, I had known in my gut that before the evidence came out, before all the finer details came out, like, I knew something worse was going on in that basement than it just being like a little bit of excessive punishment and grounding and a little bit of child labor. Like, in my gut, I knew there was something really, really weird there. And of course there was. So between all of these different little things over the years that, like, in my gut I feel a thing, but I'm like, no, that's just too much. I don't want to, you know, I've held my tongue on some things. I'm just not doing it anymore. And in this case, like I said, it does have this other vibe to it, and for the history that Nick has, he's struggled with addiction from a very young age, and not just addiction, like, it didn't really, like, have a slow ramp up. Like, basically at, like, 13, 14, he's doing heroin, and by 15, he's already in rehab, gone through about 17 different rehab or different programs to do with drug treatment, and that's just in, like, the period of 4 years. And then they come out with this movie that he had, I guess, written the screenplay about, loosely based on his experience in rehab. And then Rob Reiner directs it, and it's like this parental bonding, whatever, healing experience. But in my mind, you know, in the way I've kind of was receiving it, and the more I've been watching interviews with them, which I've queued one up actually too, about the movie itself, that it was more like, here's how we're going to rewrite the script, and we're going to make this whole big thing, and let's capitalize on it while we're at it. And, you know, during the time, it seemed like that was like the most time the two had ever spent together. And like, there's like moments in some of these interviews where Rob Reiner is like recalling some of these fond memories, and Nick's like, no, that wasn't me, that was Jake, like the older brother. And even mentioning, like, yeah, we never bonded when I was a kid, like I was into this other sport, and Rob, my dad, and Jake, the brother, had been into whatever other sport together, and WWE and whatever stuff. Like, there was a very wide disconnect that you could sense with this. And then just his body language in some of these interviews, which, if you haven't seen it, the most recent one I just did, the Nick Reiner, Inside Their Strained Relationship, and whatever else, I don't even know the whole title. It's been a long couple days since the news of this came out. But, yeah, you can sense he's, like, dissociating through the one interview that I'm kind of going over in that one video. And, like I said, the body language, there's a lot going on there. There's so many things going on there beneath the surface, and so many layers. So anyways, before I, like, just keep going on and on and on about it, I did queue up, like I said, some of the, like, the latest, what do we got, like 5-6 videos here, some of just the latest developments. From what we know right now, he is in custody. He had been set at a $4 million bail, but that's now been rescinded due to the fact that, I guess, the family doesn't want to receive him. They're not going to pay it. They also feel that he is a danger. So he's now, I guess, in, like, protective custody. They're monitoring him. He's on watch due to his potential risk, his potential to being a risk to himself and others. And I, like, all these details are coming out, like the fact that it was very intentional type, like, execution style versus it being like an altercation. Like, first reports were coming out about lacerations and consistent with a blade edge. And now it's kind of sounding like it. And this is still just kind of rumors. There's so many different reports and different conflicting sources and whatever, or not sources, but just conflicting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word to say there. Like, I guess evidence or statements or whatever. Got to be careful what we say here. But anyway, there's stuff coming out that sounds like it was like an intentional, not in a conflict, not within in a fight. It wasn't an altercation. It was an intentional planned ending of them. So crazy. It's like, and the fact that it is such like a famed director, and there is so much history there, like, obviously, like, it's just people are losing their minds about it. There's a lot of different conflicting opinions and sides. It's becoming political, obviously, too, because why wouldn't it? I don't want to go too far into the politics of it all, so I won't be, but let me catch up again with you guys in the chat. Shocked, sad, but curious to see how deep it goes. Yeah, that's true. You're right. Go play outside. Like, the more I'm digging into it, and like, that's why I was like, I just got to jump on and chat with you guys, because it, like, the more I'm looking into it, the more I'm like, oh man, like, there's something serious here. And because of, like, what I was writing, like I was saying with the article, I'd been writing about this theory, it just almost solidifies it. I kind of already mentioned it, like, in the Telegram group, and I tweeted it or whatever, and whatever else mentioned in the video, or the last video. But the theory, and what it suggests, it makes it so much darker. And like I said, in my gut, what this is telling me is like this has been like a long time coming, and not that they deserved it, not that violence is ever the answer, but if what I'm feeling in my gut is the truth, I think that this was even before the other night, because the latest report, I guess, is that the night before they had this big family blowout at the Conan O'Brien Christmas party. There was a big family fight, mainly between him and his dad, Rob Reiner. And it was like very loud, public. Everybody, pretty much all the guests were witness to it. And they ended up all leaving early. And that was like the last anybody really knew what was going on between the family, right? But there is no report, of course, about what the argument was about, probably because it is still an active investigation. So that's the one unanswered question. Like, we know what happened, who it is, who it was. Guy's already in custody. He has a history of mental unwellness and self-medication, all these things coming out. But why, though? Like, I'm not seeing enough people asking why, though. They're like, oh, yep, crazy, junkie, yep, went off the handle, da-da-da-da-da. Very open and shut, as we've seen for years and years with cases like this. And whether they've, it's been an accidental ending of their own life or whatever, it just seems that it's always, they try to make it as open and shut as possible, right? But yeah, sorry, let me catch up more with you guys before it gets too ahead of me here. Similar to the Drew Barrymore with the early addiction, yes, and River Phoenix and so many others. Yeah, like there's a reason these youths that grow up either in the industry or are early fame in the industry, a lot of them end up having a lot of issues going in early teens. Sometimes it takes a little, it'll be mid to late 20s even before stuff starts really bubbling to the surface. Like with Corey Haim, he was 38 by the time things really caught up with him. Whereas with River Phoenix, 23, Jonathan Brandis, 27. There's so many of them. Like, there's just so many of them, and it's so sad. I've kind of gone into a few of the more of those cases in the Brittany Murphy series, and I've been touching on, obviously, just through every documentary, any series, anything I'm doing, I'm always touching on these types of situations in relation to whatever the topic is or the person is or whatever, right? How many videos will I have on this? I guess like however many it's gonna be to cover it. I don't know. Like if this is still in development. I will start playing through some of these clips here in just a second. I wanted to kind of get through the intro and where my mind was at with it, what I'm thinking about it, because like my brain's just going in a million miles a minute about it. And how I'm thinking about it. It's just like I'm compelled to dive deeper just right here with you guys. And I obviously will still be doing update videos too, but I want to hear other people's opinions on it. This is just such a, like, throughout, I guess, most of our history with Hollywood stuff, I guess really the only other one comparative would be the Menendez, and then there's maybe a couple others that sort of relate. There's one other Dark Child Star Nexus video I was working on that almost shares a little bit of a similarity in such a way as far as the parenticide. So go figure this comes up, and go figure I just wrote that article where in the theory, the article that I was writing, Rob Reiner, I guess this is the main point I was missing there, sorry. Rob Reiner was the example I had used that was like the most disturbing of all. And it all ties a lot of things together. So I'll link it in the description of this too. It's linked in the description of the other video, but I'll link it in this one too, because it does kind of give a little more context and depth that I can't necessarily go into in a video. But it does give a lot more to think about. And it is free. I think if you click through, you'll notice it is a Patreon, but it's free to all members. A lot of the stuff on there, I try to make it just free to everybody. Some stuff will end up being early access for paid members, but generally it's all like, I don't really believe in trying to sell information per se, You read the article, fascinating read, whole gang. Yeah, and honestly, the more I'm looking at, like, this is just an early development just on some of the research and study over time that I'm like, this is what I'm starting to see. But the more that I, like, now that I've noticed it, I'm seeing it more in a lot of early childhood stuff, like the first show that Brittany Murphy was on, like, that she had a recurring role, the first TV show, and it was, like, early in her career, and it was a Walt Disney type production before the Disney sphere was like the dominant thing. And I was seeing it in that too. Like, I'm just seeing it now in all these things, and it's like, oh my god, I've been hot on the trail of it the whole time, you know. And it just, you can't ignore it. I couldn't ignore it. It just keeps coming back. It keeps coming up, and it's like across the biggest and most powerful lines within the whole sphere of it all, right? I can't say anything for sure. You decide. You decide. You can see what I've seen and what the patterns I'm noticing and what I present it in a way. I'm not really telling you what to think about it one way or the other. You decide. You decide. You know? But anyways, without further ado, let me jump into the first clip here, and we'll continue to discuss as we go, and I'll try to stay as caught up in the chat as we can, because, like, I do want this to be a group discussion, because, like, it's just, there's so much going on. There's so much going on here, you know?
Were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder.
Breaking news at 5. LAPD releasing new pictures of Nick Reiner being arrested in the double homicide of his parents, legendary Hollywood director Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. The 32-year-old is now being held on no bail. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on Fox 11 Plus. I'm Susan Hirasuna, here for Christine Devine. The entertainment world shocked by this tragic violence, a chilling argument at a celebrity holiday party, possibly at the center of it all. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez joins us now live from Brentwood with...
This is the one, this is the argument that they're talking about, the Conan O'Brien party. This is what everybody's like, oh my god, it was a big thing at the party. Like, I think they're trying to highlight it as if there was one big culminating moment, like that was it, and then he just kind of went off. But there's got to be a reason. There's a reason for all of this, you know. People don't just go crazy for no reason, you know.
The latest on this death investigation, Christina.
Well, we're right outside the front gate over here. We are told LAPD investigators are supposed to come by and serve search warrants. They have not done so as of this point. What we do have, and if we can show these to you, we just got some of the images of the arrest of Nick Reiner. That's the U.S. Marshals. And supposedly this is the arrest. The location looks like the station over at Vermont, the metro station at Vermont. And it looks like they're taking him down. Those pictures were actually posted, and LAPD thanking the U.S. Marshal for their help with the arrest, which I'm told went without incident. He was booked under suspicions of the death of his parents, and initially bail was $4 million. Now it's no bail. People in shock. Very well described by the senior editor of Culture at Variety. Listen.
When we say there are no words, there are no words. This is incomprehensible.
The murders of
like, for real. There's so much to say, but it's like, what do you even say? What can you even say in this case?
Famous director and activist Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, plus the arrest of their 32-year-old son Nick as a suspect in their death. The bloodied bodies found at their Brentwood home last night by their daughter, Romy, according to TMZ.
When she had spoken to police, she told them that there was an argument that may have caused Nick to act out in violence and stab them to death.
An argument reportedly the night before at Conan O'Brien's holiday party.
It's unclear exactly what the argument...
This is the differentiating report. Some people are saying that it was like the poking. Other people are saying it was across the neck line. I'm trying to be really careful how I say this, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is where one of the conflicting reports, but there's like, I got 5 or 6, 7, I think 7 clips that it's like all of the latest updates. So we'll see what different sources are saying, and then you can kind of draw your own conclusion. There'll be trial stuff that comes out like it did with the Menendez. What else would they need the warrants for? What would they be searching for? They got the guy. The bodies are there. It's not like the bodies are missing. It's all very, pardon me. It's all very open and shut in such a way. So what would they need a warrant for? What is it that they were trying to collect? More evidence about specifically that they didn't already have right in front of them. You know. So that was the thing right in the beginning where the police were like, oh, well, we're waiting for a warrant or whatever. And everyone was really confused. They're like, well, but is the community safe? Like, what's going on? They said, oh, well, we're questioning a family member, but there wasn't an arrest yet. So it's all sounded very confusing. And why are you waiting for a warrant if there's a for sure crime, right? Well, what else would they be like? I don't know. I'm not going to say anything for sure on that, but in my gut, I kind of feeling there was something more going on. And there's a reason he had so many troubles so early on in his early teens, like the pattern's there. We've seen it countless times that like we can't ignore it, Hey, Dream to Life. Glad you made it. What's up, Lemurian Chick? Welcome, guys. Sorry if I missed anybody coming in, joining us. I'm gonna try, like I said, keep up with the chat and everything here, but it's just a lot. It's a lot to like process too. And as I've been digging into this, and like I've had very little sleep the last couple days, and like it's just a lot. It's a lot.
It was over, but it was so heated and so animated that we're told that people at the party overheard the commotion.
Including one party-goer who tells Fox 11,
he didn't talk to anybody. He just kept to himself with a blank stare on his face, like no emotion. And he didn't look well.
We're told that the daughter, Romy, was the one that called 911, and she also noted to police that her brother, Nick, has a history of mental illness as well as substance abuse issues, and she felt he was dangerous.
Nick Reiner has never been shy about being very open and very public about his struggles with substance abuse. Rob and Nick teamed up for a movie.
Dad, I'm not going to listen to you tell me what a drug addict I am.
Being Charlie, based on Nick's addiction and the family's struggle dealing with it. Nick co-wrote it and his dad directed it back in 2015.
Hey, Art of Personal Story. I agree in such a way. And what you said there about the David thing, it's hard to say. I think there's probably multiple truths happening simultaneously, and I don't think that it's a coincidence that so many different things are happening at once. I think, this whole year, as you guys know, it's been the Great Awakening. Like, so many things are being revealed, so many more dots are being connected, more and more people are starting to see the reality of it all, and versus, like, the theater, and, the falseness of it all, how much we've been lied to over time, So, and it's not even funny, but it's so crazy. It's so hard to, even for somebody as a veteran that digs into this stuff. I've been doing this several years now, digging into the dark Hollywood stuff, but the stuff that I know is like so much more deeper than even what I go into in the videos. There's only so much depth you can go into, and so many things you can say that are within a realm of acceptability, I guess, online. You know what I mean? As far as like with the certain platform friendliness and whatever, you guys know what I'm saying. But like there's so much more to it, and even beyond the depth of that, like now that we're applying things over time, like all these new information being added and people are being at different levels of research and understanding, and like it's clicking for a lot more people now. Like so many more people I've seen like this past year or so many more people on the same page now, and everybody getting it versus the progress of like the last several years before it. Like I've been at this, just doing this channel with the Dark Hollywood. It's coming on 6 or something years now. The channel has existed for I think a couple years more than that, but as far as the darkness, and even before that, the reason I started it and started doing it was because I've been reading into stuff for years and always into like abnormal psychology and just all this stuff, abnormal and forensic psychology, like all of the things, and it all kind of interweaves. David's the other case where it's a young music artist that was discovered from YouTube. He's like in his early 20s, and they found a young, like basically a child in his car, his vehicle that was no longer with us. So that's like an ongoing investigation as well. And there are still developments, but right now they've been conferring with the grand jury and showing evidence and trying to bring witnesses to figure out who, like, there's stuff going on behind the scenes. Like, they haven't just dropped it. It's just there's not really much to update necessarily. But from what I heard last is that the woman or girl that they're trying to, I don't really know, it wasn't, for all we know, it could have been a younger person, but weren't specific. But Celeste, the young girl that was found in the car, was not a full adult. So there was a mysterious trip they took. Like they've been following the trail of evidence, I guess, and there's witnesses, the one woman they're trying to interview about it, and I guess she's not cooperating. So there may be an arrest. I don't know. There's still stuff going on in the background with that. So obviously, you know, and then with these other projects I got going, and now this, I'm gonna try to juggle as much as I can, as the best I can. But it all connects in such a way. I feel like there's certain recurring themes or certain common denominators of truth, to an extent. You know. Why did they care? So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just that a lot of things are happening, like, all at once. I don't think that it's to cover one or the other. Hey, Annette, welcome. I'm definitely maybe related to money. Hopefully it's not one of those instances where it's much darker, too early to tell. Honestly, in my gut, it is much darker. I was already writing an article that was suggesting some darkness between some powerful people. And he's on that. He was in that article not long ago. And I don't know. I think there's a reason my research was bringing me in that direction, because it's sort of the bigger elephant in the room that people just like aren't even allowed to talk about. Like the archival videos I'm loading. I don't even know if I can say. I don't even know if that's safe anymore. I had a couple of them up before, and I'm trying it again because it just seems like the right time again. But the Cappy situation. You know, he started trying to come out and talk about all this stuff way back, and we know what happened to him. So a lot of Hollywood is shocked by this. Doesn't feel pre-planned. No, I think it's been simmering for a long time. I don't think he planned it, but I think it was something that was there's been an issue here for a long time that's been festering, like a rotted infection within the family, in a way. And whatever that infection is, we can't say for sure, but I have a feeling I know. But based on the article, the TW Theory article that he shows up on, and some other very high up director types, and because of the patterns and because of some of the things I've observed, like it I don't know. Make up your own mind on that. I did link it in. I think I did put it in the description too, but it should pop up from time to time now in the chat with the timer thing. But here, let me catch up with you guys, and I'll flip this back on this video. We're never gonna get through the videos, but this is good. I wanted to get a good conversation with you guys, because, like, I don't even know really what to think about it. Like, I do and I don't at the same time. The year of the Great Awakening, yeah. Could be way off. Yeah. Carl Reiner, I mean, almost famous. That was his story. I think so. Yeah. She was like, when they first met, if you're talking about Celeste there, Art of the Personal Story, there it is, there it popped up just now. That's the tainted, tighty-whitey theory. And yeah, Reiner was the most disturbing example that I had provided in that article of what I was speaking on. So it just, I don't know, it doesn't seem very coincidental to me by any means, you know? Hearing people call her a woman. Yeah, no, she was very much a child. She was very much still a child. She was no longer with us before her 14th birthday, but she wasn't found until after the 14th birthday. So that's the differentiation there. But yeah, no, but that's a whole other thing. And I not to overshadow one with the other or whatever by any means, but I feel ya. Like, hey, trust me about them needing a balance in the mentals with the darkness. Like, you know, that's why there's several different rabbit holes. You know, you can venture into one and then come back out a bit and you know, come up for some fresh air, and then find a different rabbit hole and venture in there for a bit. And just as long as you get enough fresh air and sunshine, you should be okay.
But Rob Reiner actually began his acting career in the groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family, going on to direct hit movies.
Well, this piece is called Lick My Love Pump.
Like Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, Misery, and When Harry Met Sally, featuring Billy Crystal. He was seen here with his wife, visibly shaken as they made their way to the Reiner's home. Reaction coming in from Hollywood.
Jerry O'Connell posting the photo of him on the set of Stand By Me.
Mel Brooks' son posting photos of his father and
Well, and think about it. Like the River Phoenix situation, and there was Corey Feldman, and then what was it, Will Wheaton? And who was the other kid that was on that Stand By Me? Like, let's think about and look at what happened with River and like specifically who he was working with, like 2 people at least from that article. And look how early, like look how quickly and early. Then you got, like I don't want to go too much into the whole nexus here, but when you connect all of the dots and then like all of the early, untimely, accidental sometimes and sometimes on purpose ending of lives in the industry, it just, I don't know. And the more I think about it, the more I'm knowing and reading and looking at, like, the more I'm finding out about this case specifically, the more my gut is like churning about it, you know?
Reiner, and media from all around the world descending around the Reiner home, trying to figure out the elusive question: why?
Everyone is still trying to get their minds around it, and I don't think people ever will.
And keep in mind, this man beyond Hollywood is also known for his activism, social issues like same-sex marriage, things like that. So a lot of people reacting to this tonight. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live in Brentwood. Back to you guys in the studio.
Shocking, still so shocking. Christina, thank you. Indeed, director and actor Rob Reiner was a Hollywood legend whose body of work leaves behind a lasting legacy. He was born Robert Norman Reiner in the Bronx, New York. He was the eldest son of comedy legend Carl Reiner. Here, he's pictured with his father and his eldest son, Jake. Reiner first achieved national stardom playing Michael Stivic, a.k.a. Meathead, on All of the Family.
Well, you gotta, like, this is one of the points I made in that more recent video, too, is, like, definitely the weight of having that like Hollywood royalty basically that you have to try to live up to, and that in that case it's very like Drew Barrymore for how way back, like all the way to old Hollywood, that her family goes back, and you know the expectations that were put on her, and then for sure like we know what happened, and some of the other things that may have potentially happened is obviously speculation, but again some of the same patterns, some of the same names keep coming up, and I don't know, but I think I know, and I think you do too.
The role earned him 2 Emmy Awards.
I mean, haven't you ever gotten anything you didn't ask for?
From there, he launched his wildly successful career behind the camera. Between 1984 and 1992, he directed the films that are still revered today. The mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap,
Yes! Yes! Oh!
When Harry Met Sally, and Princess Bride, to name just 3.
Truly, you have a dizzying intellect.
Wait till I get going. Where was I?
In 2019, he reunited with the stars for the 30th anniversary of When Harry Met Sally. Reiner was also known for his activism in politics. He was for early childhood education. He was against Prop 8, which banned same-sex marriage. He was also strongly anti-Trump and known for his support for Democrats such as Al Gore.
Oh, for frig's sakes, here we go into the politics stuff. I don't think any of that really friggin' matters. Like, there's rot from the bottom to the top on all sides. In my opinion, politicians are more like servants to a different level of power that we're not necessarily privy to. So I'm probably going to just skip along this. I think this end part... Okay, we got some statements. We'll play that part. But I'm going to skip over the political stuff because honestly, it just is like a distraction to what is really going on here and what happened. And like, I'm seeing a lot of people get into these arguments on Twitter and shit. And I'm like, come on, guys. Like, let's focus on what freaking matters here. Like, why did this happen? Why was he so troubled? Why is there a pattern happening? Like, it's happening, whether we like it or not.
Promoting his new film, Spinal Tap 2, and his film continues. Governor Gavin Newsom praising Reiner for his empathy beyond his film, saying Rob was a passionate advocate for children and for civil rights, for taking on big tobacco, fighting for marriage equality, to serving as a powerful voice in early education. He made California a better place through his good works. From director Ron Howard, who first worked with Reiner on Happy Days, he proved to be a superlative filmmaker, a supportive colleague, and at all times a dedicated citizen. Rob will be missed on so many levels. My heart goes out to his family.
I wonder, like, if this does end up being a darker, more fucked up thing than what people think right now, how many people are going to be regretting these supportive messages. Do you know what I mean?
his many close friends. And from Jerry O'Connell, one of the child stars of the Goonies, love you, Rob, sincerely. Follow updates on this story.
How thoughtful for making his whole career, and that's all he's gonna say. I wonder, like, some people it's like they've gotta say something, but maybe they don't know what to say, per se. Kind of like how in the one interview, like in the last video, where some of Nick's responses were very, like, to the point, and like, hey, moving on now. I don't want to. No, thank you.
And beyond, tributes continue to pour in for celebrated actor and director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. They were both found dead inside their Los Angeles home yesterday.
And their deaths now being investigated as homicide. And their son, Nick, is in custody, facing charges in his parents' murders.
KTVU's Greg Lee has been following all the latest developments in this case throughout the day. Today, he joins us here in the studio now with the latest on what we've learned. Greg?
Alex, Heather, just a tragedy for the Reiner family. Nick Reiner is being held without bail tonight while Hollywood and beyond. Remember the lives of Hollywood legend Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. Rob leaving behind a huge impact on the industry and a legacy of advocacy. A memorial continues to grow on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at the star of legendary actor and director Rob Reiner. Fans and friends paying respects to the industry giant.
Everything that he's done, his humanity, his empathy, his charm, he was humble, he was down to earth.
Hey, Mud Skipper. Yeah, well, you know, I try to, be careful with what we're saying and not saying. And of course, because, like, we gotta let the law run its course in such a way, so we can't really say anything for certain. But they're definitely, we've been seeing a pattern, right?
His writing kind of spoke to so many different kinds of people.
Police said the 78-year-old and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, were found dead inside their home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. Their son, Nick, arrested Sunday night. LAPD saying Monday he was, quote, responsible for their deaths.
They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder. 32-year-old Nick has spoken openly in the past about his struggles with addiction, experiencing homelessness, and his relationship with his parents. He got clean in 2015 and worked with his father on a semi-autobiographic film about addiction and recovery. TMZ reports a fight broke out between Nick and his parents at a party Saturday night.
Something happened, though.
It's interesting that none of the MSM is mentioning what party or whose party. Very interesting, I would say. And yeah, art is a personal story. It's, you know, it could be any number of things. Like, it could be that he's been given new prescriptions that were conflicting, were causing things, because it's now being revealed how many of these different SSRIs over the years had really bad side effects that gave people like violent ideation against themselves and others. So there's so much more going on there, and it could be a combination. It could be a combination of a few things, you know?
Where there was a big blowout argument, we have been told, between Rob, Michelle, and Nick, and it was so intense that they felt like they should leave the party.
Actor Billy Crystal, who worked with Reiner on a number of films, including When Harry Met Sally and The Princess Bride, seen outside the home Sunday, grieving the loss.
Yeah. Did they mention it? It sounded like I thought they skipped over it. It's been a long couple days, so maybe I missed it. But it sounds, so far, it doesn't sound like any of the mainstream media is mentioning it. Like, I'm reading it in articles, and that's what's being said. But a lot of them, it seems like they're trying to just say, oh, it was a Christmas party. It seems like they're not really, they're trying to avoid having to say it. But it was Conan's party. It's been confirmed that it was Conan Bryan's Christmas party, and there was a ton of people, celebrities. And he had an outburst in front of everybody at his father. So there's something. He was calling him out on something. They won't reveal what the argument was about, but it was like I feel like that alone is symbolic in itself. It has meaning, the fact that he chose to go off on him. And I guess he had shown up and he seemed kind of disheveled. Everybody was dressed formal. He showed up in like a hoodie. He was like standoffish and not really talking to anybody. And he was really like, people thought something was off. And then he was like going off on his dad, right? So, I mean, you know, that I think tells you a lot on its own too, for the where it was, the amount of onlookers could be witnessing what exactly maybe he's accusing him of. He was accusing him of. So like I said, why do they need a search warrant? What exactly is in the house that they wanted to take in as evidence of perhaps why that this went down? I don't know. It does feel very Menendez to me in some ways.
Tributes poured in from across Hollywood, politics, sports, and beyond.
His legacy is transformational, not just for the kids today, but really for the generations ahead.
Reiner was a vocal voice for Democrats, fundraising for candidates, and a champion for causes like same-sex marriage and early childhood education, helping establish First Five California.
His contribution isn't just one as it relates to policy, and certainly we support and have benefited from his vision in that way, but also in tangible ways in terms of as it relates to resources in our community.
The Reiner family released a statement to Variety, writing in part that they are heartbroken by the sudden loss and asking for privacy during this difficult time. The case against Nick Reiner now in the hands of the LA County District Attorney's Office. In studio, Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Okay, Greg, thank you. As Greg just mentioned, Rob Reiner's son, Nick, has previously been open about his struggles with drug addiction, including homelessness and some stints in rehab.
Rob and Nick even produced a movie together tackling this very issue. Rob directed the 2015 film called Being Charlie, and Nick actually wrote the script.
And that story is loosely based on Nick's own battle with addiction and how it affected his relationship with his family.
If you continue to refuse to accept the disease that put you here, you will continue to be a repeat offender.
Don't you mean repeat customer?
I love him. I love him. I don't love him. No.
You've had. Oh, don't you mean repeat customer? Yeah.
Any of choices, Charlie. Rehab or jail. Quite a wide selection there. One of us had to keep him safe.
When Being Charlie was released, Rob Reiner said in an interview the filmmaking process forced him to understand more deeply what his son had gone through and that it brought them closer together.
Obviously, drug addiction can lead to complicated relationships, especially between family members. Joining us now live this afternoon with a closer look at this topic is Dr. Anna Lemke.
Are we ready, though? Are we ready to talk about why? Are we ever going to just, talk about why? Because, it's not getting any better. People are ending themselves at an alarmingly rapid rate. It's increasing steadily over time. There might be a problem here. They admitted that a lot of the stuff how they were treating this stuff for years and years was not right. So what? Why though? Okay, this is it. Yeah, he had this struggles, he had this problem. Yeah, and then he did this. Demonized the hell out of the guy. But that's probably the victim. That's probably the scapegoat of a narcissistic family cult system. That's probably the person that finally was carrying all this truth and couldn't speak their truth and lost it, or had a bad reaction to some pharmaceuticals, or there's so many different things that can happen. But why though? Why? What's the root cause? Even before everything, why was he depressed in the first place? Why did he need? You know what I mean? Why was he? There's just so much there.
Professor and medical director of addiction science at Stanford University. Really appreciate you taking the time this afternoon. Such an important topic. Drug addiction, as we all know, can not only affect the person struggling with substance use, but the family as well. Describe the toll that it can take.
Well, addiction is really
it's a toll on the family. It's all that when all that trauma starts surfacing and the kids acting out. It's such a toll on the family, the poor family. They friggin' caused the friggin' trauma to begin with, most likely, allegedly. Careful how we're saying it here, but come on now.
Unique brain disease in that it does involve entire families, entire societies. The whole ecosystem is part of the disease.
It's a unique brain disease. Yeah, it's called trauma. It's complex and very personal and very specific to that person and what they experienced. It's a disease. Why are in this day and age, we know better. We know better. Get it together, people. Not you guys. You guys know, but the mass majority seems to not fully understand yet the root causes of these things, and we need to stop punishing and demonizing the people that suffer the most and are now trying to self-medicate to cope and as a survival, it's a survival mechanism. There's a root cause here. Let's start talking about it. It's not a fucking disease. Addiction is not a disease. and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not giving advice. Some people can, whatever, they have their own personal feelings on that. But in my opinion, there is a root cause. It's not just you wake up and you're born and you're addicted to heroin at 13 for no freaking reason, because your brain, it's something wrong in your brain, you're the problem, you did the wrong thing. Couldn't possibly be that anything had happened in your childhood to cause you to go to that extreme at such an early age. Because that's extreme. Like, that's very extreme. It's not just like, he was smoking weed, or he was, having a few beers behind the high school and smoking joints and maybe doing, like, a few lines at a party or something. No, he was doing full-blown heroin at like, 13, 14 and in rehab by 15. Like, that's fucked up. That is not normal. There's something, that's not a disease of the kid's mind. Something happened to the damn kid. Like, are we ready? Are we ready to talk about it? Can we just talk about it now?
Disease process. And, what happens to parents in particular is they kind of end up between a rock and a hard place, where if they want to support and help their child, they can get into a stance of what we call enabling, where in their efforts to help the child, giving the child money, a place to live, they actually can perpetuate the...
Because most would just rather throw money at it and make it go away and not have to take accountability for their part in it. Yeah, that's why a lot of them do that.
Addiction, even with the best of intentions. On the other hand, the old school theory, which is that, the kid needs to, tough love, the kid...
Right. We've got two parents with histories of excessive recreational use of all of the extracurricular items. What kind of home was he growing up in that he ended up being given heroin by the time he's reached puberty? How are you getting heroin before puberty if there's not something wrong, very seriously freaking wrong, going on in the early 90s, I guess early 2000s, by the time he would have been a teenager? If there wasn't something very wrong in that household, who give it to them? Because kids just don't go out and go down to Skid Row and pick up heroin. They don't go straight to it. It gets brought to them. And who's bringing it to them? And why? And what does heroin do to a young person? What kind of mindset and altered state, and sometimes not even completely consciousness, does it put one in? And who would put a kid in that kind of state? For what other reasons? What reasons would an adult be, because it's likely an adult or an older teen, or because there's no other fucking, let's make sense of it. Let's try to make sense of it for 2 fucking seconds. Where are the fucking parents? And they talk about, they used to have, such legendary parties, all the parties, party. Drew Barrymore party. Yeah. Rap party. Her first drink. 2 men, random men that are still unnamed, nobody will say who they are, had dared her to chug 2 glasses of champagne. This is her first experience drinking, 8 years old. She ends up waking up in a room not knowing what the fuck happened to her, and her mother is asking her what happened. Trying to figure out what happened. What happened? Why are you at a fucking Hollywood party with adults, and why is a child consuming any fucking substances? For any fucking reason. I don't care how rich, powerful, influential, what the fuck you are. That all is not okay. There's a reason there's laws for this. Why is it that it's okay for me but not for thee? The general public, if anybody did that, it was giving their kid fucking heroin. Not saying they gave the kid the heroin, but allowing a kid access to heroin at a party, or drinking, underage drinking, all of that is legal. Why did Dino De Laurentiis at his home have a rap party where all of these adults were there and Drew Barrymore is drinking? Should somebody not have been held responsible for that? Was that not a thing? Yeah, Jade Barrymore, So let's fucking talk about it. It's not a disease. Do you know what the disease is? It's the rot of trauma, the infection, the generational rot that just fucking runs its way down the line.
Needs to hit bottom. Encouraging parents to kind of send the kid out onto the streets or out into the world to fend for themselves, to get the natural consequences of their disease in hopes that will get them into recovery. The problem is now
you've got to discard them when they're suffering the most. Throw them in a Tupperware container under the stairs. Put them in some facility, putting them in some facility. I'm not saying they actually put them in a Tupperware container. It's just a saying. Put them on prescription medications, send them away to some troubled youth camp, all these things. Kid went through 17 different facilities and still having a problem. So maybe the disease isn't the fucking kid. Maybe the kid isn't the freaking problem. Maybe. Just maybe. One time, maybe the parents are who is responsible for the child, and therefore the outcome of their upbringing and what they're doing in adulthood is a direct reflection of whatever upbringing they received. Maybe. Probably. Just a little bit, maybe. I don't know. What do I know? Like, that would be crazy to think.
The world is saturated with all of these really cheap, incredibly potent, and potentially lethal drugs. So parents are feeling like, well, if I do that, my kid's going to die. So you get this very complicated dynamic, and there's no one easy solution.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was clear that Rob and Michelle were dedicated to trying to get Nick the help that he needed.
Yeah, they threw as much money and specialized programs possible at it, and still, the pain remained. So maybe they need to acknowledge that pain instead of throwing money and numbness at it. Sorry guys, let me catch up with you here. I see you've gotten way ahead of me again. Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, this is why it's such a big deal, because like it's such a well-known director that for decades was like very prolific. A lot of like cult classic type movies. So this is where a lot of people are like paying attention. But then this is our opportunity to like be like, hello, are we awake yet? Can we wake up now? Can everybody wake up to what's really going on? They don't want to say anything, and they don't like what they're doing. They don't want to be there. I think a lot of them... Well, this is like... Some of these kids are born into this, too, and they don't even have a choice. Like, do you think he had very little choice in the matter of who, what family he was born into and what level of fame he was already born with, basically? He and his sister and every other child near that industry is repeatedly traumatized, and then the trauma is monetized. Yes. Well said, Mudskipper. Very well said. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. The gaslighting, MSM, yes. Dream to Life, you know it. Let me catch up here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, like, and think about how they all made their way into the general population to begin with. Where did all these drugs come from to begin with? Like, somebody had to make the stuff in a lab and then put it into little stores 100 some odd years ago. They were putting heroin and cocaine in medicine for kids, in like toothache medicine and cough medicine, like 100 years ago. Maybe not even, like the 30s, 40s. So just under 100 years ago. Like, this all started somewhere. The farmers need farm animals to make money, do they not? Let's think about it for a minute. Phone, not want to type though. Yeah, the chat's really weird for me too sometimes. Like when we're doing a premiere and I'm trying to like chat in the chat with everybody, it's fucking, I don't know. There's just something weird all the time that's suppressing and throttling and causing a ruckus. The kids are given to view, yeah, well, like, and you look at how many young stars, like how normalized it was in the 90s and early 2000s to, like, how many young celebrities were on, like, lithium and shit like that, Prozac, Xanax, like, Valium. Why are we giving kids this? Like, whose fucking bright idea was that? Always make ages. Yeah, like, it's a symptom. The usage and excessive use of this sort of thing is it's a symptom of something deeper. That's not the issue. The addiction's not the issue. There's something underneath that's causing that. That's just this, and then trying to just get sober is like a Band-Aid solution. And then there's a reason that doesn't friggin' work. There's a reason, like, these anonymous groups only have like a 5% success rate. Oh, keep coming back. Yeah, all right. Keep this in business, doing whatever the fuck that even is. It's like a networking. It's all a networking. It's not even that it's a business because it's not profit, whatever, but it's very cultish. It's very cult-like. Both. And then, yeah, the chat's a little weird too. Like, I have to like refresh too because sometimes it just, so much of it's missing, and once you refresh it, then you're like, oh shit, I'm way behind. Oprah, not opera. I would know what you mean. They're making they're making the dad out to be such a friggin' hero, and oh, this is such a tragedy, and of course, like, that's of course how they're gonna frame it, right? Both wives look similar. Yeah, some people got a type, I'd rather look at what's inside, personally, but yeah, you can tell some people have a type. I was listening to another podcast to talk about why he started, yeah, Yeah, and then just like, yeah, you said a lot of things there, or the personal story. That makes, yeah, like there's a lot of stuff going on more in the background of all of everything that they're presenting right now. There was more to all of it, but it's obviously very sanitized for the general audience, right?
He had, had stints in rehab ever since he was a teenager here, but obviously it didn't work. Why do drug rehabilitation programs, treatment programs work for some people and not for others?
It's a great question. We don't really know the answer to that question.
Because you're there to numb the trauma and get them to just be sober and functioning enough to get them out the door, and then when they do it again, you get paid again, and everybody keeps getting paid and paid and paid, and the more pills you give them and the more bullshit you shove down their throat and the more you fuck up their head and make them a zombie, the more complicit and obedient and compliant they are, and the less likely they're going to speak out about all the trauma that they're still trying to figure out in their early adulthood to late 20s, early 30s, when you really start piecing together how fucked your childhood actually was, and you start acting out, you are the problem. It's not the childhood, it's not the teenage years, it's not who the fuck gave your kid heroin at 12, 13, whatever years old. Like, why is nobody asking that question? Like, forget the medications part of it. How does a 12-year-old, 13-year-old obtain heroin? Hello?
Do know that when people actively engage in treatment, they do get better, and they get better at rates that are on par with the kinds of recovery we see with other types of chronic relapsing and remitting disorders like obesity, depression, heart disease. So we know treatment works. But why it is that some people engage and others do not, is really not something that we fully understand. Further, people can get into recovery and have, years, if not decades, if not a lifetime of recovery, and yet still relapse, right? A stressor or an exposure to another drug.
Recycled trauma, or a family still refusing to acknowledge the trauma, or the perpetuation and re-traumatization, because sometimes the trauma is psychological violence. Like, sometimes the trauma, there's no visible marks. Sometimes it's not a sexual or a physical thing. Can we start to talk about emotional and psychological violence, psychological warfare even, like terrorism in some cases, how diabolical some people can be beneath the surface that you don't necessarily know. Some of the nicest, most kindest, most upstanding citizens can be the most evil monsters behind closed doors, Are we ready to talk about that too? Are we getting there yet? I guess not, because this lady is just 40 years behind the times here with the shit that she's fucking feeding the masses.
Not their drug of choice could trigger a relapse. I want to emphasize, I don't know anything about the Reiner family or their son, so I can't really speak to that specific situation. Mm-hmm. But relapse happens, and when people, are in their addiction, they can become.
I don't really know what I'm talking about. I've just been paid here to read the script about addiction to everybody and sound official about it. That's kind of what it sounds like she's saying.
Psychotic, lose touch with reality. They can harm themselves and other people, and really only have very limited awareness of what they're doing.
And doctor, in this case, we are talking about a couple, a family with a lot of resources at their disposal, which a lot of other families don't have. And here it seems as though they were doing everything that they could to help their child, and nothing seemed to be working.
What kind of a mental and emotional pain could you be carrying that all of that money and all of those resources and all of that rehab, what exactly could be so devastating to one's mind, body, and spirit that you're a completely shattered being that would lead you to eventually taking the lives of both parents? I'm sorry, can we, are we, I don't know. I guess, that's just the way society is meant to be. I don't know, it's by design. I get it. I'm going to try not to get too angry at this poor lady just trying to do her job. But,
Yeah, it's a sad reality, right? That even with all of the access to all the best treatments not everybody is going to get better. Sometimes that's because the child won't engage in the treatments, but sometimes it's because even when they do, it doesn't work. So again, it's a very complicated.
He didn't want to trade one addiction for another addiction. Is that what you're trying to say? Because basically all they do is get you to stop doing street narcotics, and they give you big bottles full of all these other narcotics and expect you to be able to stay on a schedule and not mix them up and not want to take a whole bottle of them when everything is still not helping the underlying issue of what the problem was to begin with. I'm not saying that's the right idea either. Don't get me wrong there, guys, but shit. Hey, Ultimate Entertainment Agency. Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Thing, and it's a really hard problem, and my heart just.
Yeah, like, almost telling on herself, like, I don't know the family. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just saying it like it is. Yeah, no, it is very, very heavy character assassination. Like, they want him to be framed like a crazy junkie that went off the fucking rails. But for all we know, he's still been sober. We don't actually know if there were any drugs in his system yet. And right away, they're like, oh, yep, he was a junkie. Oh, he's a junkie. Yep. And maybe he was. Maybe he was. Who knows? I don't know. But... like, it's not an isolated incident. Like, it's not just, like, oh, the night before they fought, and then he went off the rails crazy on some drug rage, It's not so cut and dry in this sort of situation. This is a very multi-layered and likely had been stewing for a really long time. Obviously, he's been doing heroin since he was 12, 13 years old. So why? What was going on then already? How much pain are you already carrying at 12, 13 that you literally want to take a tiny death as your soothing? Like, that's the top ultimate of, like, it's a kiss of death. Like, it's a free trial of death, is the high, basically. Like, I guess it's good for people. I don't know. It's definitely never tried it myself, so I can't say anything for sure. But, like, from what I've read and from what I understand and reading stuff going all the way back to the 60s, 70s, when it's really started coming into the scene, between cocaine and heroin, 80s, 90s, from my understanding, it's like you're not really wanting to end yourself, but you don't really want to be yourself anymore. And it's a way of removing yourself from yourself for a time. And there's states of euphoria, I guess, with it as well. But, like, what brings you to that point already as such a small child? Like, you're a child. You're a fucking child at that age. Who's giving a child heroin? Can we, like, why is this lady, man? Yeah, that's the face she's making right now is how I feel about it. Like, oh, fuck.
This goes out to the family and all the families out there struggling with a child with severe addiction.
Yeah. Do you think that a high-profile case like this of addiction that obviously led to such a tragedy here, do you think that there could...
That's a good point, too. It could have just not been him. They kind of just went off of the daughter's saying, like, like she had said, he's dangerous. There's something going on with him. He had to have been the one to do it, is what was said. But could have been a crime of opportunity that people witnessed that fight at the party and somebody else had been waiting for their time to strike for a long time. And it would be really easy to frame the son due to his history. Interesting. Fucking crazy to think also, but interesting, possible also, because we don't know. We still don't actually fucking know. And why would they need a search warrant to collect evidence when it was all, like I said, when it was already there all in front of them, right?
Could be families who see a story like this, and it maybe prompts them to take action to try to get someone in their life the help that they need with addiction?
Well, I mean, we always hope that a tragedy can, be turned toward the good.
Oh, yeah, exactly. How much of a fucking process it is to just do it. Like, somebody has to show them. Like, people, like, make jokes about, oh, yeah, like, it was their first, like, what was it, River Phoenix? Somebody was talking, I can't remember exactly who the interview. It's been a while since I watched it, and I'm tired. But there was an interview, and he was saying he remembers showing River how to do it. And it was a much older guy, and it's the guy he was grabbing off of, and so on and so forth. Who showed him? Who gave it to him? Who took him through the first the initiation steps? Because it's not just doing a rail off the back of a toilet in a fucking junkie bar, or like, it's not just a quick little, oh yeah, now we're zipping. Like, Exactly. Very good point. Very good point also.
I think that most families out there who have a family member struggling with addiction are working very hard already, to try to figure out what to do to help. But, as you've highlighted, even when you have all of the access to the best treatments, not everybody gets better. I think one way to conceptualize this is that addiction, like every disease process, occurs on a spectrum. And some people with addiction will die of their disease. So we always hope for recovery, and many people do get into recovery, but it is a deadly disease in some cases.
Oh my God! Like, is she reading it of like a textbook from 50 years ago? My good Lord! I'm glad that's over. Might just skip to the next one here. Oh yeah, it's done. Okay, thank goodness. I was getting so angry at that lady.
A story that really is shaking.
She was
I'd say Hollywood.
just so outdated. Like, and it's still just perpetuated this old brainwashing like way of looking at things. Like, it's not reality anymore. We know better now. Hey Tara, welcome. Or welcome back, I should say.
But really shaking the country because it's the death of popular actor and producer Rob Reiner and his wife. His son, their son, I should say, now in custody.
Right. And so this has kind of been developing, new information coming in throughout the day. We want to bring in TMZ's Michael Babcock with the latest on this investigation. You guys are now reporting that it was their daughter that found her parents.
Morning, Shannon. Hi, Lauren. Yeah, just an incredibly sad and tragic story. We have, over the last few hours here, learned a good deal of new information about what allegedly happened, really starting Saturday night and then obviously into yesterday afternoon when, like you said, Shannon, at about 3:30, one of their other children, now their son Nick, who is 32 years old, he is currently in custody. Unclear exactly why he's being held, but it is in connection to the deaths of his mom and dad. But yesterday, he has a sibling, sister, and we have been told that about 3:30, she found her parents, called 911. Tragically, at that point, it was too late. There was nothing that could be done to save Rob or Michelle, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, this just an awful story. We're looking more into Nick, the 32-year-old that was is being held right now.
Yeah.
I saw that he has had, years since like his 15th birthday. I think it said was the first time that he was taken to a rehab facility, and that it had been like dozens of visitors or dozens of visits rather to other rehabilitation facilities over the years as well. So. But at the same point, like him and his dad, they made a movie together. So like I look at this and I'm like, clearly they had a connection. But this is just, to see this turn of events is just sad.
No, I agree, Lauren. And to your point, they did make a movie together. I was watching interviews that they did, obviously after the tragic incident yesterday, and looking into his son, into Nick, and they had the project that they made that I think by accounts was pretty good and well received. They did a lot of interviews together. It seemed like they had a loving relationship. So to consider what might have happened, obviously we're not yet completely sure here, but to consider what might have happened, it's just awful. We were told, and it's relevant to their relationship and where they might have been right now, they went Saturday night to Conan O'Brien's holiday party. It's something he throws every year, and you get a lot of celebrity friends who go over and they have this big party.
Well, there you go. He said it. That guy said it. A lot of them were like avoiding saying it though. I wonder if it was just like the networks that are connected to the show, they didn't want to say it. But yeah, it was a Conan O'Brien Christmas party. The blowout happened.
Where they all have a nice time. Well, Rob Reiner went this year with his wife Michelle, but they also brought Nick with them. We have been told that there was a blowout fight at Conan O'Brien's party on Saturday night where it got so bad or so intense that Rob and Michelle left. Unclear if Nick left, but Rob and Michelle left the party because they got into this fight with Nick. And then obviously less than 24 hours later, we know, tragically what happened to them. And now, as there is some evidence to at least indicate that he may have had something to do with it, I think it kind of puts that argument into focus. And they were not in a good place. We've been told that they were at wit's end, for lack of a better term, with what to do with Nick and how to help him. And they loved their son very much, but they just didn't know where to turn. And it just paints a picture of a parent.
How do you fix somebody broken though? Like that's so splintered and broken. If you've had some severe complex trauma, like you can't just fix it. You got to acknowledge it. You got to actually like look at the actual situation and not just expect to throw money at it and fix it. Like if anything, this is a perfect example that you can have all the money in the world, all the privilege, all the resources in the world, and that you can't cure a disease that's not a disease. Or, you can't cure, if you're treating the wrong disease and ignoring the underlying problem. It's like putting a Band-Aid over an infected wound without cleaning out the wound. You have to clean it and cleanse the wound before you can put a Band-Aid over it and for it to heal. So if the infection is like rotting and festering over the years, eventually the pus starts to ooze out. And sorry to get really like visual and icky about it for some of you guys with weak stomachs. As I'm going into more detail, I'm like, maybe I don't have to go too excessive, but this is what it is. It gets worse and worse and worse till it's like you got gangrene and you cut your leg off. That's what a trauma does in your brain. It's a brain infection. It's like a brain pus in your brain causing an expansion and pressure, and it's like there's so much going on there. There's like, I'm trying to think of it as the most visual way to say it without it also being like so disgusting. But when you're thinking about the degree of trauma and the severity of trauma it would take to cause such a severe infection that would lead to taking your parents' lives, what the hell, right? Like there's sorry, like, but like let's stop acting like these parents had tried every single fucking thing they could, because I feel like maybe they were a part of why to begin with, in the very least.
Parents and a son who were really in crisis with one another.
Yeah, that movie was called Being Charlie, and I bring it back up because it is Nick writing about himself based on his experience with addiction, with homelessness as well. He even told People magazine that he was homeless in Maine, homeless in New Jersey, he was homeless in Texas. He said he spent nights on the street, weeks on the street, and it does seem like that they would keep going to him and trying to get him help, trying to get him on the right page. And I just think of so many parents who probably have been in this same boat where they're trying so hard to help their kid, but at the same point, you feel like you're just playing the same old story.
Right. And they had all the resources in the world, but I think it's an important message. It goes to show that money that's not all that matters. And he seemingly, had demons and battled real issues. And Rob Reiner obviously had all the contacts, all the money, and still Nick was really struggling. And his bouts of homelessness, I think, paints that picture. It did seem like they were at times at least, they were in a good place. And it seemed like, even hearing Nick talk about his dad and Rob and how Rob helped him with his addiction issues, it seemed like Nick had a lot of love for his father, but we know how these things can sometimes go. And
honestly, like, from the perspective of somebody, like, I've spent the larger portion of my whole life, really, actually, like, as far back as I can remember, I ended up leaving home really early in my early teens for reasons, and I had different struggles myself, and really ultimately getting myself away from the rot and the infection of the family that I come from was the answer. And over the years, I would try to get on their level and try to have a relationship with them, but every time I would go back into their sphere, the rot, the infection, I would catch the infection again, and it would just destroy me. Like I would start spiraling again, and mentally and depressed and all this stuff. And ultimately, the answer was to get the fuck away, as far the fuck away. Just stay away. All of them. Anybody still connected to the root of an infection within it needs to. I can't be any contact to any of that infection, because it takes so much time to extract the infection every time, to clean the wounds and get back to a level baseline of like, I'm just doing my life and everything's cool, everything goes fine when I don't have any interaction or anything to do with any of you. So why would I want anything to do with any of you? But when you're in that situation, in such like a famous family and stuff, and it's about the image, it's about the whole, how you present to the public, there would be so many instances where I feel like this kid is like forced. It's a force. And if he won't just go be along and play like picture perfect family, the kid's homeless. He's on the streets. He's got nothing. So, like, the complication within your brain that would create with, like, really not having a choice. And, like, I don't know. I couldn't even imagine how much more of a severe, toxic, dysfunctional dynamic must have been going on within that family. And a lot of this I can kind of relate to in a way, and I'm not saying I want to, like, kill anybody. I'm not going to kill nobody. I don't want to harm myself or others. But I can see being driven to a point where I was been able to remove myself enough times and be gone for 2-3 years, no contact, no holidays, no nothing, and then come back and try to feel it out and whatever, and do a holiday, or somebody would be in the hospital. That would be another thing. I would almost be forced back because somebody would die, and I'd be guilt-tripped to return to the family and be part of it. And then you get sucked in again, and the infection, you catch the infection again, right? So at this point, like, I'm not even going to funerals. I can't. Like, I'd like to live to 40 or beyond, you know what I mean? Like, and it's obviously a different level and a different scale and a different degree, but obviously there's a reason I do what I do and why I have the type of perspective that I do, and why I have so much empathy for all these people. Even in this case, obviously this guy just killed his freaking parents, and that's really fucked up. But, like, why though? Because I know I've done some crazy things, not at all to the same degree as some of these celebrities do, because, like, you know, they've got a lot more money, a lot more resources, a lot more stuff that they can get into, a lot more trouble. But I you know, there's certain similar common denominators when it does come to the trauma experience that, like, you could go to rehab 17 fucking times, but every time there's a problem, and the family keeps trying and keeps trying. Maybe the family was the fucking problem, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Sorry to be so long-winded and get real personal with it, but maybe the family's the problem. Maybe the family's the infection. Maybe he's the scapegoat, or the whatever they say, the black sheep of the family or whatever. And now we know, though. Now we know what that is, and why no contact with parents is becoming, like, a viral trend right now. Like, you see it all over TikTok and stuff. People talking about, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing holidays. I'm not doing fucking anything. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck my family. Fuck my parents. And then you get these parents on there like, I don't know. I'm such a victim. I don't know why my kid don't. My adult child does want. Victim. Right? Because they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to look at themselves. Oh, what trauma? I don't know. What happened? Like, dum-dums. Bunch of fucking dum-dums. And then the kids sitting there, the ones that's struggling the worst, suffering the most, probably went through the most trauma, probably understands and sees how fucking toxic the family is, because they just don't want to be part of it. Like, they can't mesh with it, because they see it. They see how fucked it is, comparatively, in the world. Where some people are so, like, indoctrinated and brainwashed in their own little narcissistic family cult systems that they don't fucking see it. They're part of it. They're an extension of it. They're flying monkeys and the golden child and whatever different, if you understand with narcissistic family dynamics, like, there's different branches to it, right? But maybe, you know, just maybe, this same human experience that's happened over and over and over and over again. We hear people talk about it, you know. We got runaways all over the friggin' planet that are choosing suffering, homelessness, possibly being violated on the streets or robbed, hurt, facing that reality versus wanting to fucking make nice with their stupid little family. Why? Why is that? Why? Why is that? And then why, when those people get fucking the far as fuck away that they can, then they're doing okay, but then they get back in with the family system and something goes fucking wrong and they're relapsing, and oh, they're a problem, and oh, they have a history of drug use, and oh, they have mental illness, and oh, it's so big problem. No, they're the one holding the root of the infection that they caused to begin with. Like, can we be so fucking for real? Are we just, can we just say it? And I'm not like a licensed professional or certified or whatever about any of these things, but from the years of studying all this shit and researching to do with trauma and personality disorders and forensic psychology, all this shit, and then in connection to the stuff with the industry and everything that goes on there, like, are we ready to have the conversation? Can we be so fucking for real about it now? Because it's if this is not the most obvious and like wake the fuck up case that there ever fucking was, I don't know what it's gonna take for people to get it, you know?
You know, it's a roller coaster, and other times are more difficult than others, and it seemed like they were going through a real rough patch here, and I'm sure we'll learn more as the...
And fuck you, family. Merry Christmas. Keep fucking trying to get in contact with me. Go away. by the way, because you know what, I'm not afraid anymore to talk about it openly. I know there's enough people that know what I do and then know who my family is, and this is where I don't go to into personal stuff, because like I'm, for whatever reason, still protect all these fucking people that made my entire whatever. We're not going to go into it, but go away. And if anybody is listening, related in any such way, go away. The blood is cancer, and it's not thicker than water because it's fucking tight. It's cancer and infection. Go away.
The hours and the days and weeks go by, but it's just an incredibly sad story. You can tell how beloved he was by the reaction of other folks in Hollywood and just people who enjoyed watching his projects over the years. It's just so sad.
Yeah, we're already hearing about...
Sorry, guys. This obviously hits very close to home in such a way, and I do feel very passionate about it. And maybe that did get a little too extra personal, but it's the time of year where if you are no contact with the families, you know, you end up getting people coming out of the woodwork trying to be like, oh, what's going on, you know, and it just, it's all part of it. Just go away. But anyway, so I just, yeah, in this case, guys, just to get right back onto the topic that we're supposed to be talking about here, it just, yeah, it's, I think this is a hard time of year for anybody that goes through the same kind of family trauma situations, you know, anybody that has toxic family dysfunction and whatever, that it's always it's a hard time of year for people, and for various reasons, and a lot of it I'm still trying to work out for myself and how to feel about it, and I guess I'm getting to that point of feeling more angry about it, you know, like now that I do have more of an understanding, because I've always just tried to repress and put it aside and put it down and put it away, and getting into my, you know, earlier and then mid-30s, I have a better, different understanding of it, and just the fact that I've gotten this far, if I had not removed myself once again from the family sphere in my early 30s, I would not be here. I won't go into too much detail, but I feel like I wouldn't have made it this far if I did not remove myself again. So I think either way it ends up being internally or an externally thing. When people do finally snap, some people end themselves, other people end people around them, and like that's one or the other when they finally hit a breaking point, and that is of over years and years and years of being pushed, you know. So I have empathy for the guy. I know a lot of people are like, oh, empathy for the family, empathy for Rob and Michelle Reiner, the legendaries of themselves or whatever, but and maybe, you know, so it's an unpopular opinion probably, but you know, I'm standing on it, and I'm not we can't just keep staying silent. All of us that just sit back and watch all this parade bullshit horse and pony show play out in the industry, in our own lives, in our society. Fuck. Like,
you know, different actors, comedians, people who worked with him, even showing up to the scene. I read that Billy Crystal was just there.
We have video.
Larry David.
Yeah, we have video where you can see actually Billy Crystal, like it's scene video, like where, you know, we're there just getting video of police at the home, blocking things off. There he is. There's Billy Crystal right there.
Right.
Walking with his wife.
Right. I think they had to see it for themselves.
Yeah,
they
and
were
did
just
they
in shock.
I think, did they live in that area? I mean, this is Brentwood. It's
well, and here we go, like, oh, the name dropping. Oh, it's like a big old circle jerk situation right now. Oh, even Billy Crystal showed up. Oh my goodness. Like, oh, it's everybody very excited. Like, fucking get over it. Who cares? These might be very bad people. Like, because why does a kid kill their parents? Like, most of the time, in those cases, there's a fucking reason. So let's be so fucking for real, guys. Like, damn fucking news pissed me off. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And sorry again. I appreciate you guys with the support of, you know, like I've been just holding back for so long, and at this point, you know, if they still want to keep trying to reach out and keep invading my life, like I'm just gonna start talking about it. And if they don't want all their business out for the fucking world to hear, in the way that it is right now with this Rob Reiner situation, like I'm not anymore. We're not doing it anymore. So I appreciate you guys, and yeah, I mean that's really the only way you find your tribe, anyways, to really start getting a little more personal and reaching an understanding. And you know, I've been pretty open about it. You guys know that I've obviously had something going on. You know, there's a reason I do the channel. A lot of it, you know, I've acknowledged in the chat when we're doing premieres like that. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people that are drawn to this content had some shit go down, or something in their family, or somebody close to them had something in their family, and like this is why this content resonates with them. You know, so I think it's always been the unspoken understanding amongst everybody here in the chat right now, especially like all the regulars, most especially, like that, you know, there's reasons we are all here, you know. So we're not alone. You guys aren't alone. I hear you, Crow. Like it is hard. It gets even harder around the holidays when you really like it's just not good for you. It's bad for you, and you know then you're like it's weird. It's weird having holidays and that you do your own thing. Like I just don't celebrate. I just don't acknowledge it. It's whatever. And yeah, no contact's really hard, and like the alternative is what we're seeing here today, you know, stuff like that, or with the River Phoenix thing, or with, you know, and I think it's important to start having more of these open conversations, just human to human, because even with these people in the industry, like they're just human, and maybe it may seem like they have a more privileged or a more advantageous experience, but sometimes all that good, a lot of bad comes with it too. You know, you got to take with the good with the bad, bad with the good, or the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever the fucking saying is. Yeah, like I think we all need to find more of that sense of humanity and empathy for what goes on in the industry and how it mirrors what's going on in society, and just right here in our own backyard, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's celebrity after celebrity.
Yeah,
Houses,
it's so strange because this is obviously such a high-profile case now, and this is about a mile away from where Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered, you know, in the 90s. So you've had these two violent, tragic incidences so close to one another in what otherwise is, you know, one of the most beautiful and wealthy neighborhoods that you could ever, you know, want to live in. It's such a beautiful place. And
you know, it just occurred to me actually, like, what if Billy Crystal and Larry David were there at the party that night and they have a rough idea of what Buddy was being accused of, and maybe they went in to go cover up for their fucking friend. Like, I don't know, go in and take some things out of the house. I don't know. Like, it just feels so much like there's like so much more going on there that like it's. But I don't know. So much glitz and glam. Look over here. Oh, ooh, ah, Billy Crystal, shiny, ah.
And you know, it's just been marred by this violence, unfortunately.
Well, much more to come. I know you guys will be on top of it. Thank you so much for your insight, and we'll be checking in with you, I know, on Good Day tomorrow. So we will we'll get updates.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate you having me.
All right. See you.
Thank you guys, and like I'm sorry for anybody else also, you know, like that is relating to that. It's not fucking a great thing to be in the same club for. Like, welcome to the trauma club, guys. The Christmas Misfits. We did Misfits Christmas a couple years ago, and then I kind of was just not even wanting to acknowledge it anymore, but maybe we just call it something else, and I don't know, we'll still do some kind of Misfits holiday thing. I don't know, because it's like, it's weird. It's kind of weird when the whole world is on this schedule and on this way of living that's so revolving around family and revolving around this holiday system and commercialism and all the fun things that come with that. Like, it's a fucked up time of year for people that can't be a part of that without testing and risking their fucking sanity, right?
3 Hollywood is in mourning, and police investigating after Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer were murdered in their...
Hey, welcome Vegas, Lil. My figuring on that is that they're collecting more evidence as far as what the motive would be for the crime. I think maybe there was more to it, and when they were interviewing Nick, there was probably accusations. I mean, there was the big blowout the night before at the party, so there's maybe something being revealed, perhaps, and this is going to be part of his defense, maybe, that it's some kind of a, I don't know, crime of passion to an extent or something, not like love passion. I don't know how to word it in the right way here, but I think there might have been other things going on there that they would need warrants to collect the evidence, because they already had Nick. He was already apprehended. They were already questioning him when they did the press release thing last night. So it seems to me like that there was more to it. There's evidence that they want to collect that they would need a search warrant for, because everything else was right in front of them. The bodies were there. Obviously they knew they had the weapon. They had the whole thing. They knew who did it. It was an open and shut case. So what else would they even need as evidence at that point, right?
Brentwood home. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. Since NBC4 broke the story yesterday afternoon, the couple's 32-year-old son, Nick, has been arrested and booked on suspicion of murdering his parents. This is one of the family's last public appearances at the premiere of Reiner's last film, Spinal Tap 2, in October. In Hollywood, fans are leaving flowers and tributes to the award-winning actor, director, and producer as civic leaders praise the couple for their commitment to fighting for social and economic justice. NBC4's Alex Rosier joins us live outside the Reiner home in Brentwood with new details surrounding the famous family. Alex.
Annabelle, a source close to the family, tells NBC News that both Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer, were found dead inside their Brentwood home behind me with stab wounds. And hours later, police arrested their son, Nick, who's spoken publicly about his long history with drug use. Today, as the world remembers legendary actor and filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, the investigation continues into their murders.
Yeah, I think it does involve that also. I think sometimes it's like it's crime of passion is like a jealous lover or whatever, something like that is sometimes how that's framed. But I do believe, that it does. It's like more all-encompassing of like an emotional, irrational response to something. So that's kind of how I meant that. And good to see you, Grace. I don't know if I welcomed you. And anybody else I might have missed that's joining us. Welcome. And good for you, Crow Oath, by the way, also. Just, stick to it. Just don't even... It's not worth it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stick to your guns, too. Stick to your boundaries. Everybody, too. Stay strong. Stay strong this holiday season. Don't take the breadcrumbs and the flying monkeys coming in trying to pull you back into the toxic family bullshit. Just stay true to yourselves, guys.
I'll share what we can.
This morning, LAPD Chief Jim McDonald said hours after police found Rob and Michelle dead inside their Brentwood home, officers arrested their son.
We have our robbery homicide division handling the investigation. They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case.
Just after 9 p.m. Sunday night, the LAPD took Nick Reiner into custody in Exposition Park near USC. Two sources told NBC News that on Saturday night, Nick joined his parents at a party hosted by Conan O'Brien. The sources said Nick was interrupting conversations and disruptive during the party. The 32-year-old spoke publicly about his long history with drug use. His experience inspired a 2015 film.
I love how they keep circling back to, he was just a drug addict. He was just on drugs. He was probably on drugs. And not what the argument was about and what the turmoil might have been and why he might have done this. There's so much focus already. The character assassination on, the highest form, the highest level. Trying to, the way that they're trying to frame him. If this comes out to be something completely fucking different and what my gut is telling me is more about what's going on here, but there's something deeper and darker that he was trying to reveal at that party. I think I think this is so much more than what people think it is, and it's gonna really fucking rock the nation in a way. This is gonna be a lot for people to take in, because for the amount of times I've been right when I'm feeling in my guts about this situation. And I don't want it to be the case, because it sucks how fucking crazy and weird and sadistic and depraved and deviated the fucking society is. I don't want to be right, but I feel like this is another one of those situations, and I don't think people are ready. And for how beloved he is, and all these people about it right now, it's some people's minds are gonna break. People are gonna lose their freaking minds just finding out some shit, I feel like,
He co-wrote with his dad, called Bean Charlie.
Let me see those. My mother's oxys.
It's a story of a father in politics with a son who was addicted to drugs.
You've had plenty of choices, Charlie. Rehab or jail, quite a wide selection there.
J.D. Heyman, the founder of the entertainment newsletter Culture Wag, knew that film meant a lot to Rob.
I can say that he felt that it was an important step for them as father and son. He didn't say that it was some kind of cure-all for the issues that they may have had, but simply that it was a wonderful experience.
And now, nearly a decade after the film premiered, Nick is now in jail, suspected of killing both of his parents.
Anybody who knew Rob and Michelle knew what dedicated parents they were. And how much they cared for all of their children.
JD says this is a significant loss.
Certainly one of the most important filmmakers of his generation in the entertainment community, a leader. I think anybody who had any contact with his family is just shocked, horrified, and deeply saddened that this has happened to really good people.
Nick Reiner remains in custody.
I like that they're assuming that they were good people. I don't think that we can decide that just yet. I feel like there's going to be so much more to this fucking story. And I don't know how many people are about to be eat them damn words. What is that? What he did... No, that's Frasier. I was going to say he did Seinfeld, so I was going to say he's got scrambled eggs all over his face. It's not even the right sitcom. Fuck Seinfeld. Fuck all that shit, too. God damn. I know, like, exactly. And this is why I wanted to line up a few different news sources just to see, like, the pattern of, like... yeah, the way they're all framing it. Like, no empathy whatsoever. Like, why, though? Like, why is nobody asking why, though? I'm still wondering. They're leaving the why at, oh, because he was a drug addict. But why was he a drug addict? Why did somebody give him heroin when he was 12, 13 years old? Why was he going to fucking, like, serious rehab by 15? Why did he have those problems to begin with? Like, maybe we could start there. Like, let's start asking some fucking real questions.
Right now held with no bail. We are expecting him in court later this week. In a brief statement shared with Variety, the family said it is heartbroken by this sudden loss and they've asked for privacy at this time. We're live in Brentwood. I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
Well, there's gonna be nothing private about it, I guess. Like, unless the whole thing gets sealed up, I don't know, like, well, I guess it's yet to be foreseen, but I'm gonna try to find out when this next court date is here, too, so we can be on that. But yeah, alright, guys, like, fuck. The repeated, like, it's all very, like, scripted and repeated. Everybody's just kind of saying the same shit. It does seem it's repetitive as fuck. I'm sorry, guys, but I think it's important to kind of just see how it's presented differently. Sometimes there's different new information coming out in some of these interviews versus others. You got to get the whole landscape to really be able to make your mind up about it, you know?
The breaking news in the last few hours, officials have confirmed that Nick Reiner, the 32-year-old son of Rob and Michelle Reiner, is being held in jail. He has been arrested, booked on suspicion of murder. The announcement, the confirmation rather, came around 45 minutes ago from the LA Police Chief, Jim McDonald. Take a listen.
We have our robbery homicide division handling the investigation. They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder and is being held on $4 million bail.
Now, Andrew, that's a massive bail amount. You would not see that except in a murder case like this, $4 million bail. That pretty much assures that Nick Reiner will remain in jail for the moment. Now, again, authorities do believe he is the only one involved in all this, but they will continue to make sure they know that. They're talking to lots of people here, but it does bring just a certain closure to the suspicion overnight. Was he or wasn't he the person that police believe is responsible for these murders? Now,
yeah, they already did. He's already on watch. He's on watch because the family's saying he's a danger to himself and others. And maybe, or they've decided it because of the nature of the crime, but yeah. So I figured it out, though. It looks like they have Tuesday, so like tomorrow, I guess, is when he's set to appear in court to figure out the charges and stuff. So I don't know if that's going to be a broadcasted thing. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to look into that more. But if it is, I'll be on it. We'll do it live. But yeah, you definitely were seeing like just a repeated echo chamber almost for a lot of this. There is certain different details kind of coming out that are giving us a little more of a clear picture, but definitely seems like it's just a lot of repetition.
according to other sources, numerous news sources, the couple were stabbed to death. We should get more information on that from the coroner today, the medical examiner for Los Angeles County. We do expect at least a preliminary autopsy report to be released later today. And at that time, we will know for sure more details, but we'll know for sure exactly how they were killed.
And so where does the investigation go from here?
Well, the immediate concern is, will there be formal charges? That's up to the district attorney's office. I just spoke to the
It's not. They didn't. Or at least they're not revealing it to the public. I was just looking, and yeah, no, there's none of that either. I was going to say, did it actually? Because I didn't see that. And no, they hadn't. So I don't know. Like, they might be trying to keep this real private, too. Like, I'm guessing the family has already employed some pretty fucking heavy-duty, like, a legal team or whatever, as far as... I don't know if they'd have to, but I mean, I feel like they'd be trying, or some kind of team, like PR team, maybe, to try to keep things a little more wrapped, because it is such a public, and like they can't really avoid it being as public, as it is, that they probably are trying to, within the press and within the media and stuff, keep things a little more under wraps as much as they can.
DA's spokesman, he said the DA's office has not been presented with the case yet. Now, they will probably get it sometime today. They have basically 48 hours to either charge Nick Reiner or he must be released. No one expects this to be a major complication, so it's likely he will be charged either today or tomorrow, but my source inside the district attorney's office said it's unlikely today, but there will be formal charges, almost 100% certain, against Nick Reiner either today or tomorrow. Now, after that, authorities do want to make sure they understand everything about this case. They want to understand what may have led Nick Reiner to do this. So they will talk to family members. They will talk to neighbors. They will, I'm sure, check his...
Holy shit. The first one. The first time. CBC, good for you. Canadian broadcast. Way to go, guys. See? You can already see how different we are. We're also kind of we're very similar to the States, but you can see that our news is a little more forthcoming about certain things. Like, why though? Like, what might have caused this? They need to find that part out. The why though. We're the why though. Maybe that's just a Canadian thing, actually, though. But why though? Thank you, Steve Futterman, or whatever. Is that Steve Futterman, I guess? Is this guy here? Or maybe it's the journalist is talking. I don't know. But this guy. Thank you, this guy.
Computer, check his cell phone, things like that. So this is what they're going to do in the next few days. But obviously,
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's still more to come from other news sources. But so far, he's the only one who've been like, okay, but why though?
Area here really in shock right now. Neighbors have been coming by today. We saw the assistant for Rob Reiner come here. People are just stunned by what took place, and obviously his entertainment colleagues just stunned and heartbroken as well.
Steve, thank you. That is journalist Steve Futterman.
Thanks,
live
Andrew.
in Los Angeles.
Thank you, buddy guy. Okay, so this one is going back 2016. I think you can see the 2016 sort of. Yeah, okay, it kind of cuts it off there, but this is them in an interview talking about the movie, the Being Charlie, that was based on Nick's life while he was in rehab. Sorry, I was trying to get some food in me there in between. Haven't eaten much today. So pardon me, guys. I thought there was still more minutes to that clip, or moments to that clip, so I could get a bite in. But anyway, this is, they talk more about his addiction and things like that, and it's a different interview. They had just released it, when I had started the stream, so we'll dive into this, and then, I don't know, we'll see. We might leave it at just this interview, because I do have one more, I guess we'll see where we're at for time, because we've got this one, and then I have another, longer interview about the book, and maybe we'll save that other longer one for another stream, maybe tomorrow or something, but we've got this one, and then there's just this one more, to the latest of what we know. It's kind of just another news clip, so actually maybe we'll do that one quick first, and then the final, we'll end it off with this interview. It's about 10-12 minutes, about the movie, and then I think we'll leave it at that. What are we? Oh yeah, we're almost at 2 hours here, and it's already late, and got so many other things on the go here, project-wise. So yeah, I think we'll do that, and then we'll save the other interview.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you as we continue to roll on. Next up, we want to continue to talk about one of the top stories that we have been following for you on the death of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer. Reiner's son, Nick, is in custody, booked for murder. According to the Los Angeles Police Chief, Nick Reiner is being held on a $4 million bail. For more information on the story and the investigation, we want to continue to talk about this. Bring in our next guest to help break it all down, attorney Trey Lavelle. Great to have you on, Trey. And this is just a horrible incident, but involves the suspect being a family member. So first off, just how does this maybe complicate issues for extended family members that are just grieving here in this process?
Wow. Well, first, what a horrific, tragic incident. Rob Reiner was an icon in the industry, an incredible producer, director, actor. He was an actor's director. Actors loved working with him. And this is just a huge, huge tragedy. As far as the extended family, I mean, we're so early into what happened, but it's going to be an incredible investigation. The fact that the alleged suspect is his son, who's now in custody. Other family members are going to be, directly wanted to be interrogated, wanted to be inquired with, and ask questions to find out exactly what happened if they have any insight. But it's just plunging deep into the family, which is just very, very sad.
Yeah, it's so sad, and it really goes to show that saying with you just never know what a family is going through when that door closes and what's happening really behind the scenes in a household. We are learning through
Yeah. Well, like, as I always say, like, a lot of darkness can live behind doors where happy little wreaths are hung, right? And definitely, Veronica, the fact of how violent it is speaks volumes, for sure.
TMZ that in this investigation, unfortunately, the daughter found the bodies of the parents and pretty much right away said that she believed that Nick should be the suspect in this case. Talk to us a little bit about family dynamics when it comes to this and trying to pinpoint just so early in this investigation on Nick Reiner.
Well, that's very telling that the daughter would say that. It kind of starts with the fact that Nick has a history, unfortunately.
It must have been, like, it was uploaded not long ago, but it must have been recorded before they confirmed that he was being held in custody and going to be charged.
Of drug addiction, of homelessness, of rehab. So we have that backdrop going into that, and one would possibly suspect that was a reason that may have led to this. But the fact that another family member would point the finger at him is very telling. And this is a celebrity family, and celebrity families are raised very differently. When you're a famous father or mother in the industry, the kids are raised very differently than at the average household.
Yep. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Another good point. Now we're getting somewhere here, guys. But yeah, definitely 100% Menendez Brothers vibes, and almost to the point of like Donnie Darko vibes, if I'm being so for real here, guys, is what I'm feeling in my gut. Because why, if when you already have him apprehended, he's already under arrest, you already know what he did, how he did it, why, like, well, you don't know why yet, but you already know everything else you need to know. So really the only question left is why. And if the why, there was a good reason, maybe there was a good reason. We don't know yet. Maybe there was a very specific reason that he had blasted at the party the night before. And maybe that's what's to be revealed. And in order to obtain the evidence of those things, they would need a warrant. That's what they would need a warrant for. Because everybody's like, well, why would they need a warrant? It's been 6 hours. You can get one in minutes. You can call it up. Like, it took all that time going back and forth. So what the fuck was actually going on here? Like, there's something more sinister. I feel it in my guts and my bones and my very depth of my fucking spirit. And I'm just, I'm going to call it like I see it as early as I possibly can at this point. Because the amount of times I've held my tongue and not just come out and said it in these kind of cases, like, fuck.
So that goes into it as well. But yeah, I my heart breaks for the families has to endure this, deal with this. But I think we're going to find some very interesting facts as we get into this investigation.
Yeah, that's so true. And Trey, also want to ask you this question. I think a lot of viewers may be thinking about this as well. For the suspect, Nick, just because he's only a suspect right now, of course, hasn't pled guilty or anything like that, would he?
No, he's not guilty yet, but, like, I think, like, come on. I mean, or maybe he's not, though. Could it be a frame job? We don't know. We don't actually know. That's true. That is also true. But it does, like, there's sharing some vibes to some other cases that it ended up being more than what it seemed on the surface, you know?
Would he be able to still use the family's money for his defense?
He should be able to use the family's money. I mean, whatever is accorded to him. I mean, this is allegations. There's nothing been proven. Whatever financial resources he has access to now really shouldn't be affected. They wouldn't be affected unless possibly there's a conviction and some type.
He never had it to begin with. If he didn't comply and go along with their little bullshit, he was homeless. So what are they talking about? He never, like, there's very little chance he's getting any access to fucking anything in order to defend himself, if there's any reason for defending himself. But my guess, like I said, like, what other evidence would they need to, like, you guys tell me, let's do like let's just take a consensus here. What do you guys think they would need a search warrant for? What other evidence would they need if it's that cut and dry? It's like the game of Clue. Like, it was, you know, I don't know what room yet, but in whatever room with a knife and blah, blah, blah. Like, they know what the whole thing was. It was all right there. They already had him in custody. So what would they need the warrant for? If it wasn't part of why he did it. If there wasn't some other thing going on and there was a reason he did it. Like, that he was saying, like, no, like, this is why. Go to the house and look. And they're like, well, we can't just go to the house and start poking around. We need a warrant. Okay, well, go get a warrant and then go into the basement and look in the, whatever, behind the bookshelf. It's a secret bookshelf. You wouldn't think it is, but it's a secret. There's a secret passageway, and you go down, and who knows? It's one of them big fucking crazy mansions that could very well have fucking tunnels, and who knows where the fuck is really going on here. But if it took him 6 hours to get the fucking... Sorry I'm swearing so much, but this is very serious. I'm feeling very serious and passionate about it, and I can't censor myself live the same way I can in a video. So you're gonna have to deal with it. But anyway, yeah, like, there's not really much else I can think that why they would need a search warrant and why it would take that long and why it would be a whole thing if everything wasn't just laid down and laid out before us, you know? What do you guys think? Like, I guess I'll have to wait a minute. It's a minute or two behind before I play the video again. I'll wait to see what you guys think. And I think a lot of you guys are kind of on the same page anyways. A lot of you guys are saying, yeah, like, Menendez Brothers vibes. Hey, Aurora. Shouldn't admit I hadn't heard of the guy because I'm in... well, you're also Australia. You're on the other side of the fucking world, so that's okay. Who knows? I don't know. There's people I know that that I don't know who they are that are super famous at this point, and maybe it's a generational thing sometimes, but it's all good. It's just, it doesn't really even matter who they are. It's the essence of the situation, and, like, they're all just human beings at the end of the day, right? Live, never make these. Oh, yeah. Well, we're on later now, I guess, so we're connecting over with the other side of the world. I've been trying to do, like, some earlier premieres and later premieres and kind of switching it up to give more access to more viewers in different time zones, but it's kind of hard. There's no one good time that works for everybody. Yeah, and if anything, exactly, dream to life. It's kind of healthy to not know what's going on with all the celebrities. Trust me, you don't want to know what's going on with all the fucking celebrities, guys. Fuck. Trade ya. Somebody want to trade? Like, shit. Someone on Facebook claims that the son had decided to transition and the parents were supportive. The son was... I don't know about that. The most recent pictures, like, they had their head shaved. And if you're trying to be of the feminine persuasion... I mean, I guess unless you're wearing the wigs. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about that. But if you wanted to talk about that happening in the industry and where that can go, look into Alexis Arquette. That was a very sad story, and they kind of, like, turned it into whole thing, and I think it was more forced against their will, because it's really easy also for that to be the problem. It's also very easy to say, oh yeah, no, there's no trauma, you're just stuck in the wrong body. It's not that what happened to the body for the first fucking 20 years of your life. It's you're in the wrong body. We'll just give you a new body and everything will be fine. Like, let's talk about the statistics of how many people that are having a problem with their orientation or their gender or whatever were abused as children sexually. Probably, maybe, like, a lot of them maybe is why it plays out in different dysfunctions in adulthood also. Like, that's a whole other topic probably for another day, but I do think there is a chance that pharmaceuticals could have played a part, and whether it was like a bad reaction or he wasn't getting access and having side effects by going cold turkey from a medication, because that's very dangerous too. But a lot of SSRIs and stuff, it's now proving that a lot of them cause violent ideation to themselves and others. Like, that's a thing. So the fact that people are still just being given these things or being kept on these things or whatever, or maybe he had chosen to go cold turkey and stop because, like, there's other side effects that are not very savory with being dependent on those sort of medications to function, you know? Like, you're basically a zombie and you can't, it can impact your sex life, I guess is the best way to say it. I don't know, there's no better way to fucking say it. You can't get there. You can't necessarily get there. Some people report that it kills their libido or that kills their ability to reach the most free pleasure that we have. The best free pleasure we could get out of life. The end zone there. Yeah, no, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I think he's, like, very restricted outside of the trust and whatever money the family does have access to. Judging by the fact that he ended up being homeless for however long because he didn't want to go and do the whole rigmarole with the family, you know? So, yeah, me too. I feel that, Dream. That's, like... But, like, why... Okay, so, but you guys aren't even answering the question. Come on, guys. Why do you think they needed a search warrant if it was all laid out before them? What do you think... Why? Like, what's the why, though? What do you guys think is the why here? Aside from that, because I guess that is a why. That you're trying to answer the question, the Facebook thing. That is possible. That is kind of possible. But even beyond that, why though? Why were you even at that point? What comes before that? What comes before addiction and gender or body rejection? Recordings. We're getting warmer. If the Menendez brothers had shared... maybe you guys haven't seen Donnie Darko. Maybe not enough of you guys have seen Donnie Darko. The end of Donnie Darko, Patrick Swayze, actually, it's a very interesting movie. You should check it out. Drew Barrymore took a big risk producing it herself. She funded it herself, and it was a huge risk, but it's a great movie. It became a cult classic. If you haven't seen it, shit, but I don't want to spoil the ending, because if you want to go watch it, I don't want to spoil the ending, but if you go watch the freaking movie and watch the goddamn ending of the movie, just go do it, maybe that. There's homework. I'm going to give you homework after this episode here. Watch the movie, look into the case about the Menendez brothers, and think about the ending of Donnie Darko. That's what's going on here, in my opinion, I think. Based on the research I was already doing, the theory that I wrote an article about not long ago with Rob Reiner's Stand By Me being the most disturbing example of a pattern theory based on patterns and research. There's too many dots. There's too many dots connecting here that I can't ignore it. And the camera's everywhere. Yep. Yeah. To see what really happened, because maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't do it and he's being framed. Go get the video. Go get the video evidence. I wasn't even there. Maybe. Also, P.S. You can spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. You can look it up. Go look it up. If you guys want to spoil it for yourself. I don't want to spoil it for everyone because there might be a mixed bag here. Just go check it out. Like, look at the wiki and read the wiki. And Patrick Swayze is in it, and he's like a bad guy. He ends up being a bad guy, which kind of sucks. But he was great for the part. He did it really well. Like Sass Corey Feldman, exactly. You haven't seen it either, Crows? Yeah. Homework for today, guys. And then watch like Mulholland Drive and then like Rosemary's Baby, Eyes Wide Shut. Like I could give you guys a list to really fully understand what's going on beneath the surface and behind the curtain at the wonderful land of Oz.
A forfeiture, or if there's certainly a civil lawsuit and there's a judgment. But other than that, he's just a suspect, and nothing should change regarding his financial resources.
But yeah, okay. So, but it seems like you guys were kind of all on the same page, anyways. It's like we're saying it without saying it. You guys are kind of getting it. We're all kind of getting it. And there's the article. Thank you, Streamlabs. That was perfect timing. It just did it on its own there. That was awesome. That's the article. It's free. I think you might have to be a member of Patreon. Like you might have to log in with Patreon, but it's free. You don't have to be a paid member to see it. Check out that article. That almost even more so than the movies. Don't even worry about the movies if you don't have time or you don't want to. Check out that article. That will tell you a lot of things. And you could try to think of movies that you've seen that we were like, yeah, oh wait, there was that kind of imagery in that film, and see if you could notice some patterns across the board in your own childhood repertoire of films, and why, you know, like just check out the article. You'll know what I'm talking about here.
And what will happen?
And that, like I said, that was written before. Like that was like a month ago that I put that out, and like I don't know, I still want to add more to it because I've been kind of seeing more things coming up as I go in other research. Like now that I see it, now that I'm making sense of it, I can't not see it, and I'm remembering all these different movies that it applies to. And that children that are no longer with us that died really young were in those movies, which Stand By Me, for example, and then River Phoenix, and then of course Corey Feldman. So definitely check out the tainted article.
As the criminal investigation will play out, especially in court as well, but civilly as well, is there anything that the surviving family, the sister and others?
Oh, sorry. Okay, also, like, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Most recently, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Like, I'm gonna maybe make a list, because I think there's a lot of movies where it's like they're trying to tell you some shit. They're all trying to tell us some shit. You know? Yes. Tizenhow. Tizenhow? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sorry. Yep. Yes. After the experiments ended, practical use began, and the military and religious figures and entertainment industry and political people, everybody got together and started figuring out how to use those to their best advantage. 100%.
Could do against Nick?
Sure, there certainly could be wrongful death, lawsuits that there very well may be, which are brought by heirs of the deceased against somebody who perpetrated it. But I think we're a little a ways from that. The first is, getting the facts of what happened, the criminal prosecution, if there's going to be one, seeing where that stands, seeing where the facts are. But ultimately, sure, there could be a civil wrongful death action by the heirs.
And Trey, we talked about the $4 million bond there for Nick Reiner. Explain to us why that number is $4 million and how that all kind of.
Oh yeah, like the media is being very ballsy, very bold, and very ballsy. Like I don't know, maybe they talked to one of the siblings or something though. Like they seem very confident with their sources. So, like I don't know. And, like, they have their different ways of finding things out, and, like, they're not barred by the same restrictions as the police would be, right? So, yeah, like, I obviously take it as a grain of salt. I would wait till hear exactly what the police say in each and every situation, like, any of the new details coming out, but I think that for them to be that boldly posting it, like, even before they confirmed it today, People Magazine had posted, like, that he had done it. This is what happened. The sister found him. Like revealing all this information immediately. So, and then they confirmed that. So, I think like again, yeah, take it as a grain of salt. Draw your own conclusions. Do your own research. But yeah. Like when the timing's good on that, because you load up a few different things like for the timer thing, and you never know exactly what order it's gonna be or when it's gonna fire off. So when it like you're talking about it comes off at the right time. I love that. Great feature. Thank you, Streamlabs.
It goes into play for a suspect.
Well, a number of factors go into determining what the bail will be. The severity of
Well, we're gonna skip this anyway because there is no bail anymore because he's considered too dangerous to himself and others. So I don't want to go too far ahead. Yeah, I had started kind of a list in the Telegram group there, but then I just reworked and moved everything around and made new topic sections for different types of news and different types of information, and just started dropping a lot more stuff over there actually. So if you guys are into that, if you want bonus and like any bonus uncensored content, like join the Telegram, check out the Patreon. Like I was saying earlier, pretty much everything is free to all members, all the uncensored, everything, all the articles. But paid members get early access. That's really the only difference, because information should just be free for everyone. But I'm kind of restructuring the Telegram group, so I probably will add another section though of like the truth in movies type list, and then yeah, if people want to send recommendations or suggestions or whatever, there's like a contact in the Linktree thing, the Telegram, the message me on Twitter, whatever. You guys, we're in all interconnected kind of world. You'll figure it out. You'll find a way. But yeah, there's a lot of movies. There's a lot of movies that were trying to tell us something. And way back, like Brave New World. You know, maybe even getting back just to literature in general. That was written so long ago, and it's so true to now. It's not even funny.
You know, they want to make sure that he's going to show up for his criminal proceedings if they let him out on bail. So they want an amount that is significant enough that's going to make sure he shows up. As I said, you know, proceeding.
And for this investigation for police, what is happening right now? Are they looking back maybe at the last 48, 72 hours of the life of Rob Reiner and the movements of his wife? I mean, what's leading up right now into this investigation as the son right now is in jail for this?
Certainly. So absolutely. I mean, the 48 hours, 72 hours are very important. You know, what we know now is that it possibly was a stabbing, and that can mean a number of things. Was it a manslaughter type thing where
They said lacerations, not puncture wounds. And other sources are saying it was a slashing and lacerations. And very intentional, not confrontational. But I don't know. There's, again, different news, different data coming out from different news sources with regard to that. But I believe it was what the one odd one out is saying and not what everybody else is assuming. Because they said, oh, lacerations with a knife. Everybody assumes stabbed. I don't think that. I don't think this was that.
heat of passion, you know, a big argument that led into, you know, the acts? Could it be some type of planning, which would be more of the second or even first degree murder? We just don't really know. So the police are getting into that. They're looking at the suspects, Nick's past, the drug addiction. They're looking at the relationships between the family members, what the family's going to know. They're going to look at his social media to see if there's any posts, you know, to find out what there's any intent or any motive potentially. You know, so we're at the precipice of the investigation, but they're going to go into all of that, and they're going to start finding answers pretty quickly.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And also, I'm sure that...
Yeah. You guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Because the blowout was at the party, right? And then he had time to think about it and simmer on it and mull it over. Yeah. Because, like, I don't want to give away Donnie Darko, but it was a crime. It was a crime at the end. He did a very wild criminal thing to... I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away because it's so good. But it's very much feeling like the end of Donnie Darko mixtured with the Menendez situation. So that, if you just go search it, go Google it, just see how those two things connect. Because that's what I feel like is going on here, guys. Like, I want you to brace yourselves and be prepared for it. I mean, a lot of people in the industry have been saying, like, this is the year. Like, a lot of stuff's going to be revealed. You guys don't even know. Like, this is it. It's starting to happen. And sometimes things don't happen the best way. It's not the ideal way. This isn't the best way to make a big reveal. But if that's the way that he felt was the only way the truth was going to be able to come out, was making it a big fucking thing and doing a big grandiose thing, like that. Grant, albeit violent, like gratuitous violent in a way, but maybe not. I don't know. But I think like this is I don't know. My gut. That's what my gut's telling me.
Blood and urine tests have already been taken on the suspect there, and Nick. If he was, let's just say, maybe on drugs or on some sort of substance, could that be used maybe not only against him, but could he use it through his defense as a way of saying, look, I was on heavy amounts of drugs or different substances?
Sure, whether or not he was intoxicated or on drugs is very important. It really affects his mental state. You know, if he were on drugs, he may have attacked him not really knowing what he was doing, which would affect his, his intent. Or if he wasn't and he was very clear-minded and had planned it, which we don't know, obviously, then that's very important as well. But I think the drugs not only are going to be important for, what happened, what was the state of mind at the time of the incident, but also before, what led to that. Could this
Yeah, like again with the drugs, of course. But I think we might find that he was a very sound mind and not on drugs, and there's gonna be a reason. There's gotta be a reason. People don't do these things for no freaking reason, right? And absolutely, Tizanow. Yep. Farmers need farm animals to stay in business. The farm animals have never cured, or the farmers have not cured any diseases or disorders or anything among their farm animals. They keep them just well enough to be on the farm, doing the farm things, but not well enough to find their way off the farm land, per se, outside of the pen, wandering away. They don't want to let them out. They don't want to let the sheep out. Let's be so for real. Fuck. We're just saying it. We're just going to say it all. This is the year. This is my New Year's resolution. I'm just no holding back.
Have led to the argument, if there was an argument.
Some holding back because I can't say it all over here. I have to say more things over, like on the Telegram and on Patreon. But I'm really going for it now. I'm not gonna sugarcoat stuff. Like it's either they're gonna wake up now or they're not at all. It's too late. If you're not even if you're not like at least half awake by this point, and you're not ready for the next layer of awakening, like just stay where you are. Everybody else we're going to the Great Awakening, and we're gonna see what's going on here. We're getting out of the cage. Getting out of the cage. Fuck this farm. I'm going home.
And so the backdrop of his life and his drug problem is going to be extremely important. It's where the authorities are going to start with, because that's what they know about.
So true. Trey Lavelle, great to have you on. Thanks so much for breaking down the early parts here of.
You seem like you crazy. I get crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to set me off.
Yeah. Were you ever worried that that Nick could shine poorly on your career or something like that?
No. That never crossed my mind. I mean, he's my son. I love him. It doesn't matter.
This is the interview now, from the movie, like I was mentioning before. I didn't realize I had still one more news clip, so did that one first, and then this is the final. This will be the last one we'll do for tonight, and we'll wrap her up. But this is their interview about the movie they did together, Being Charlie, that's loosely based on Nick's life.
That he's more important than anything that could happen to me.
Charlie, why don't you tell us what you want to thank God for? 6 months of sobriety. Nothing you want to say?
Do I smell like weed?
No.
I think I smell like weed.
Is most of the movie parallel to your life, or almost all of it?
No, we took from our lives, but it's a fiction. I mean, Nick can tell you because he went through all of this, and I think you took from a lot of different people, didn't you?
Yeah, from my own experiences and from also seeing other people going through it, and also the varying establishments that I was in, you really get a sense for that whole world. So
yeah, that's a good point. And they're setting it up too, exactly. Like if he tries to come out and say stuff, it's like the same how they framed it with the Menendez brothers. They're like, oh, he wanted the money, they wanted the money sooner, and it was like they were just selfish, spoiled rich kids. But there was enough evidence. They fumbled the retrial. They fumbled the retrial. And all of the evidence that was showing that they had been systematically abused over the years with witnesses and the whole thing, it all got thrown out, and they got a retrial, and it was all swept under the rug, and they were made out to be these fucking murderous, whatever the fuck. Nobody wanted to listen to them. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Something happened to this kid, this guy, which, I mean, like, okay, here, let's get this fucking link to this article, which if you check out the frickin' article, it's not gonna let me do it like that. If you scroll up a tiny bit, it's like the tainted link. It's probably in the description also. But that article I'd already written before this, a while before this, that is a theory about some powerful people in the industry. And Rob Reiner, the Stand By Me movie, is one of the most disturbing examples of what the theory is. So check that out. It is free to everybody. It's on Patreon, but it is free. There's early access stuff and other stuff if you pay, but it's free. So just check it out. There's a lot there because it's stuff I can't really put anywhere else anyways, right? So I got to put it somewhere, and so it's over there. That's what's over there.
It's not like copy and pasted, but it's definitely derivative of reality. Sort of like a 4-year process. Like first we started out with this like slapsticky half-hour comedy pilot that was horrendous, bad jokes and everything. And he looked at it and was like, eh. And then
I just felt he could go deeper. He could go deeper with it. I mean, it was funny, but I felt the subject matter, should allow him to go deeper with it.
Yeah, well, that wasn't said at the time. It was sort of just like, hey, this is trash. But anyways, we went along, and 4 years went by, and then I met up with Matt for a bagel in New York City, and we were like, what about that old script that we were, maybe there was some good stuff in there. And we went in, and we looked at one page, and we were like, this is terrible. And then, yeah, I just sort of wrote a new pilot, then got around to him saying, would you like to make a movie out of this? And we were like, we don't know how to do that. And then we just tried to do it.
Was it cathartic?
Which? Hey, Kung Fu Panda. Which are you talking about? Are you, because they did try to say something about him destroying their house one time or whatever, but it was actually the guest house. He had, gotten a little rowdy and fucked some stuff up in one of the guest houses. But I don't know, I haven't read anything yet about a DV call. But this interview, this would have been 2016, when he had, they had done the Being Charlie movie.
In a way to revisit the journey?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we went through a lot. I mean, we didn't do it to be cathartic, but it turned out that that's what happened. I mean, it forced me to understand a lot more of what Nick was going through, and I think it forced him to see what I was going through, and that brought us closer together. And during the process of working on the film, it took about a year just working on the script. The first draft they wrote was like 190 pages. They had thrown everything in that they had gone through.
Manifesto.
Yeah, and as we shaped it and changed it, the whole process brought us closer together because we started understanding each other a little bit better.
I'm not going to listen to you tell me what a drug addict I am.
Tough, Dan.
Careful, I'm one of your constituents now. You wouldn't want to lose the governor's race by 1 vote.
You can either head back to treatment or live on the streets. It's your choice.
I can't tell exactly what got me into them besides the fact that I thought they were really cool and I just wanted to do them. But I think I heard this question a lot, and I think the only answer I can give for wanting to tell a story like this is that it's even more powerful to tell it about someone who is going through this and they're given everything and they're in an opulent situation and they're still deciding to go to the drugs. And that's more powerful than some, in our opinion, that's the only story that we know. We don't know any other story besides that.
And I think, it cuts across socioeconomic boundaries.
Sure.
I mean, if you look what's going on now with the heroin epidemic around the country, it's invading white middle-class suburban neighborhoods. So it doesn't really it crosses all economic boundaries, and difficulties that you have are not relegated to only people who are unprivileged.
I mean, that's a good point. That is a good point. It's not even an opioid crisis anymore. It's an opioid apocalypse, for being really so for real about that. But Yeah, there's still definitely like the disconnect there because he was like he's the truther. He wants to just tell the fucking truth, and he's not allowed because they have to shape everything in such a way for the PR training aspect of it, right? The dad's like, oh yeah, like we looked at it and then we worked together and made it like, oh, it was such a good movie after. But he's like, no, like you pretty much told me it was a piece of shit. You told me my idea and the way I wanted to do it. Everything I wanted about what I wanted to do was wrong. You were right. You know everything. You've been in the industry for years. Of course you know everything. You're big. I'm little. I'm right. You're wrong. Blah blah blah. Like that whole spiel from like Matilda, right? Because how could a younger perspective of somebody that's observed growing up in the industry all those years ever have their own right idea of what's funny for their own generation and for their own audience that they'd be trying to appeal to? It has to be Rob Reiner's way. So it became this big fucking circle jerk of it's our healing journey and we're gonna bond and it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Let's do it. Yeah. That's Rob Reiner. Totally kiboshed his whole fucking I want a 30-minute whatever sitcom comedy segment about it. I want to make light of it, make it fun, and you want to make it a touchy-feely fucking happy ending bullshit fucking lie of a movie and put your name on it and add it to your repertoire of fucking whatever, and then he's just a credit. Like, oh yeah, well he wrote the screenplay, so it's kind of based on his life, so we'll give him some credit. But then it's a whole big fucking Rob Reiner production. Like, you couldn't just give him the fun to do his own fucking thing the way he wanted to do it. Couldn't lend him some camera equipment the way some other big directors do to, like, child predators. Wait, Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas will just give cameras and money to fucking Victor Salva and welcome him back in the industry after his conviction and all that shit for his own son. I wonder why. Like, the whole fucking thing, man. Jesus Christ. But that's what it sounds like. Like, sorry to like fucking fully like cut into this interview that they're doing right now, but from everything they said there, that's what I'm getting. And from the other, well, George Lucas and Spielberg are really close, also, but then also George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola are very close, and Francis Ford Coppola is very close to Victor Salva, and their company, Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas, the company they have together, American Zoetrope. The cameras from that company that were used for American Graffiti were used to film the movie called Clown House in 1989. Victor Salva, the guy that did Jeepers Creepers, he went on to do a big major horror franchise during Clown House, where in the beginning of the movie is one of these examples that I'm referencing, comparing other movies to, like all these other directors have sort of done the same thing. But in the beginning of the movie, the kid that they're showing in the tighty whities is the kid that he had been grooming and doing things to, that he ended up going to prison for while the making of that movie. Comes out of prison. Francis Ford Coppola is pretty much like, oh, it'll make you a better artist for having gone through the whole process, going to jail, the whole thing. While he was in jail, he wrote Powder, which ended up being either produced or distributed by Walt Disney after coming out of prison. So he was like just going right back to making movies. And then he did Jeepers Creepers. So he just came back with a fucking boom, and it didn't matter that he'd filmed and did things to this little kid for all those years under the funding of these fucking big major people that we don't talk about that. Not allowed to talk about it. It's one of those Voldemort situations, like he who cannot be named. Same with all of them, man. Almost like fuck. Like check out that's all part of that article I keep talking about. I'm just saying it. I'm just gonna come out and say it now because like. I just, I can't not say it anymore, It's the amount of information I'm sitting on versus what I actually talk about in videos, it's like completely different. But anyway, it's just the fact that he couldn't just make his own fucking show. He couldn't just do what he wanted to do with it. It had to turn into the whole big Rob Reiner fucking thing. And Rob Reiner, like I said, though, going back to the whole article, the perfect example of the same thing is at the end of, or is in that Stand By Me movie, and you can see it again at the end of E.T. You can see it in Alfalfa, Little Rascals, where Bug Hall, who played Little Alfalfa on that movie, he said that's the movie he started being abused on. And it carried on from movie to movie, set to set, and like it's the whole Disney sphere, to be honest. Like there's just a lot of it. But that recurring imagery that matches people that have been convicted for those crimes, the imagery in their movies matches a lot of the imagery in a lot of these fucking people's movies, and it seems kind of like a calling card, Sakata cork board linking up some shit with an Australian issue that ventures in me, but was mostly focused elsewhere. Yeah, you got the crazy people wall too. Not that it's crazy at all. It's mapping all the craziness in the world. Put it on there, man. Like, there's stuff that I missed, like that Bob Hope thing the other day. For you guys that were here for the last stream when we were talking about Bob Hope, and I was like, how the fuck did I miss that one? Like, for the amount I've read into the old Hollywood and the military stuff and the experimentation back in the day and all the stuff, how did I miss the Bob Hope thing? Like, that was the situation. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't, it's just in your blind spot or whatever. It doesn't really reach your desk. It doesn't come across your desk the right way. How close was, yeah, good question. Good question. I'm not even going to read that one out loud, but, you know, yeah. He's in there. He's in there with, like, a dirty shirt with the eye cappy.
How bad did it get at home between the two of you?
It's reflected in the movie where the father character talks about how, you know, he didn't know what to do, so he listened to anybody who had a desk and a diploma to do exactly what you're talking about. But the truth of the matter is, you have to be who you are. And I made mistakes in that I didn't go with my gut instinct and the feel. And I know Nick better than, you know, some expert who's never met him. And I think had I listened to my own instincts, I would have done a lot better by Nick. But, you know, you do what you do. You're a parent and you think, here's my kid.
I tried to throw money at it and put him in all these facilities, and then it wasn't working, and so, like, I needed, the way he's framing it still, I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah. No words. I just, like, if something else was going on, like, it just makes it all the more disturbing, for sure. Oops. No, it's too big. Come back. There we go.
Kid running out into the street is going to get hit by a truck, or you want to keep them safe, so you do what they tell you. You feel you're at their mercy. But what I feel after all of this is it's not about punishing. If somebody has, you know, is struggling and has difficulties, you don't punish them for that. And I think a lot of these programs feel like the kid is being punished, and I don't think that's a great way to go. I mean, how do you feel about it, Nick?
About what part of it?
About what I was just saying about the idea of you know, the tough love and all of that stuff.
You know, I'm here, so it worked.
It was never about the drugs. All I ever wanted was a way to kill the noise.
Getting sober is a selfish thing. You gotta help yourself first.
For everyone, it's different. For me, the noise was basically, you know, living in the family that I live in and catching heat for that sort of stuff. And also just...
For being a Reiner?
I guess. I mean, people would like to think that's a real bigger deal than it actually is, but it's really like I was an emotional kid who had problems, and I just was not so fond of myself, so I kind of, you know, had problems in that way. But in terms of the thing you were saying before, it's like I think that our relationship was not as it was portrayed in the film. Like, there were this sort of like holding the line and being tough, but like we didn't ever argue like quite like that. I mean, we did, I guess, to a degree, but it was never...
He was fiery. You don't seem very fiery to me. You seem like you might just...
I get crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
You don't want to set me off.
No. Some big blow-ups there.
No, we both can get pretty...
You don't roll easily either.
No, we can both get pretty hot, and there were times when we did get hot. But...
Well, where do you think the son gets it from? You're going to be a raging, violent piece of shit. Your kid eventually is going to grow up and sometimes be like, I'm fucking mad at you and I'm going to go off on you. Like, eventually. Like, because for how many years is the kid, like, very small and you're this big fucking guy? And he used to be a much bigger guy. He's lost weight here. But this guy used to be a very big guy, like a big guy. And, like, to be yelling and screaming and violent against a really small fucking child is so fucked. It's so fucked up. Like, it's one thing guy beats his wife, but you're beating your own little fucking kids, screaming them into a corner, berating them, bashing on them, whatever. Any of it, even just, like, psychological, emotional violence. Like, you're fucking rotten. You're fucking rotten.
But you weren't, like, cold like that. He was very loving and compassionate. I just think that he din't really know what to do.
What about Mom?
I didn't go...
Always with the defensing though, like he's like very much like, okay, well, we have to preserve the good family name. Like you can see that there's a lot of the training, the PR training is embedded into him, and like if he's medicated also, it makes it like, oh yeah, no, it's fine, yeah, we both got heated, it's no big deal, it's normal, like all the families do it, like it's so normal. No, it's not fucking normal. Violence isn't normal. Emotional, physical, any other kind of violence. No means no. We're done.
Go to either of them because neither of them believed a word I said, but it was sort of like comforting to talk to her because she was a little bit more in touch with her emotions and how she felt about it. And he was sort of trying to, follow orders, I guess.
You went to, how many times did you go to rehab? You said, is it 18 times?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it had to come from you, so what was rock bottom?
18 fucking times, and you can't figure out what the fucking problem is. And that's his more recently. They uploaded this video very recently, but the footage is from before. But this is a more recent picture. Like this, I believe, is like more what he was looking like more recently.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But it had to come from you, so.
Well, obviously everybody's older, kind of obvious. But yeah, this is what he is, what he looks like more now, not the other guy.
What was rock bottom?
Not him younger.
There wasn't one. It's all rock bottom. It all sucked.
When did you, what made you finally make it not a 19th?
I got just sick of it. I mean, it's hard to believe that you wouldn't get sick after 5 of them, but I mean, after 18, I was like, okay, I'm pretty bored of this. It wasn't like I want to go back to rehab. I was like, I'm sick of this cycle, this using drugs, it being so temporary, the fix, then going back into a place for months on end, then getting out and just, rinse, wash, repeat.
This being my life.
Yeah.
Do you believe, and they'll tell you, you're gonna die if you continue on this way? Do you think you would die, or did you still feel invincible?
No, I mean, of course there's that level of feeling that way, but I was, the rate I was going was probably not great. Gonna end up great.
Did you feel like, did you ever get close?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Did you ever get close to not being here anymore? Yeah. Of course he did. He fucking... What do you think about what he's doing since a fucking really young age? That's so dangerous. It's so bad. And who gave it to him to begin with? But definitely, yes, Tisenhow. And yeah, you guys get it. You guys all get it. I love that you guys all are on the same page. Like, you're already there. Don't even gotta explain.
How do you manage it now? Do you go to AA meetings regularly? And
I found that those weren't as helpful for me as things like staying active and replacing replacing the activity that you were doing before with stuff that's healthier, like working out, if you can afford it, going to a therapist, as well as having a good, support group of friends. I have that, which is lucky, and not everybody has that. And I have supportive parents.
And you also found work that you like. I mean, you found his writing, and that's something that, he likes to do. And
you can tell that's been a thing. He's very excited. He found work. You found work. Like, he was probably very much pressured to, do anything, something, but then he's got, all these people ahead of him that have done all these great things in the industry, and maybe he just didn't want that. He just wanted to do something else. Maybe he just wanted to be a regular fucking person, but he didn't have the choice. No choice, right?
He works with his friends doing that, so.
Can you be in a room now where people are drinking or smoking pot or something, or do you consciously avoid those situations?
No, I want to be there when they're doing that, because I don't want to feel alienated like I'm some, special case, or I don't want to feel any different or alienated. I just want to be part of the crew again, and just not do that other stuff.
Nick, what do you do when that little voice comes in and says, let's do something, let's use or something? How do you get over that?
I just replay what's happened every single time when I decide to give into that voice, and it's never been good. So it's just if I look at it from a mathematical standpoint, the statistics are 0 for it going well. So
yeah.
Were you ever worried that that Nick could shine poorly on your career or something?
Well, and then just look at that picture. So much distance. They're standing next to each other, but they may as well be 1,000 miles apart. And it's in the eyes and stuff too. And wonder how much medication they got this big old guy on here. But yeah.
You ever worried that that Nick could shine poorly on your career or something like that?
No, that never crossed my mind. I mean, you know, he's my son. I love him. It doesn't matter. That he's more important than anything that could happen to me. I care more about him. He's most important, and Jake and Romy and my family, they're the most important. So that doesn't factor in.
What is your advice, Rob, to parents?
Yeah, but it's one thing to say that, but does he actually, like, is there the actions matching the words? Like, it's easy to just say that, but I don't know. From what we're, like, for what's going on here, it seems that maybe you didn't always have that, your best interest of your kids in mind, because why is your 12, 13-year-old kid doing heroin? Probably let's go back to that, because, hello.
Parents who might be in this situation with a kid that's struggling.
I think listen to your kids. Go, you know, try to spend as much time you can with your kids. Try to understand your kids, and don't punish them, because this is my opinion. In my opinion, the reason they're taking, whether it's drugs or alcohol or gambling, whatever they're doing it because there's a pain. There's something inside they don't feel good. They don't feel good about themselves, and they're.
Oh my God. Like, I don't know if I'm just like the less of anything that I do. Like, I don't even really drink anymore. I haven't done nothing. You know, I had some wild years back in the day and whatever, but I'm like very clarity of mind, and my guts just like my stomach churned. Like, I feel like I can sense more like a clairsentience in such a way, almost like I can sense energy of a situation. And in some videos, and I feel like he's putting on a performance right now. He's saying what he thinks people want to hear. He's saying what the right thing is to say, but I don't think his actions match his words here. And the way my stomach just churned, I feel like it's like I'm feeling what what fucking the guy is feeling, Nick is feeling, hearing his dad saying that, because it probably couldn't be further from the fucking truth right now. Like, I'm gonna go back a second so you can see that, hear that, and just already look at his face. He's like, yep, all right, let him fucking ride the show and tell him what the fucking narrative is and what it is and how it looks and everything that's going on. And he's just so defeated. Even like in the other interview, in the other video I did, or in the other video, the last video, sorry. Oh, fuck, I'm tired. But this right now is like, it's churning, it's making my stomach churn, literally. Like, the energy from that's like coming from this right now is just making my stomach like in knots. It's very icky. It's an icky nay, man. Fuck.
In my opinion, the reason they're taking, whether it's drugs or alcohol or gambling, whatever they're doing it because there's a pain. They're
like, he's like acknowledging it, but not acknowledging it. Like, if he's the one that causes the pain, and then he's going on this big fucking performing fucking. It's just gross. It's gross. It's still gross the second time around, but alright, hold on, sorry. I'll play it through. But it's bothering me a lot. This specifically is like a churning in my stomach. It's like so you know it to say it, to perform it on TV, but you're not doing that. You're not that person at all, is the feeling I'm getting in my stomach right now. He's like, you're full of shit. Like, you are so full of fucking shit. This is you're fucking performing. It's a performance, you know? Look at his fake fucking face. This poor fucking guy, man.
This is my opinion. In my opinion, the reason they're taking, whether it's drugs or alcohol or gambling, whatever they're doing it because there's a pain. There's something inside they don't feel good. They don't feel good about themselves, and they're self-medicating. So to try to understand why it is they're not feeling good. Kids that don't use drugs at all, just going through teenage years, is difficult. So you have to just stay with them and try to understand as best you can. And whatever you do, don't be punitive, because I don't think that helps at all.
What worked for you that mom and dad did, and what didn't?
You know, everything. What worked is when they kind of like were like, you know what? They turned their back and they were like, you know, you got to figure it out for yourself. You're an adult now. Like, this is getting old. Like, you know, sort of not like we don't care, but just like, you know, I don't know.
Nick, if Dad said from the very beginning, God, I love you. I think it seems to be in terrible pain, and I hope you work it out. No, I always love you. And do you think you would have, instead of it would have been a shorter journey? Maybe
No.
not 18 rehabs. You might have gotten there quicker, or no?
I think it needed to happen the way it happened. I was a real nutcase. I was crazy, and I just it was more than drugs. It's really always about more than that, and I needed a lot of that sort of discipline. It's life.
The way it's cut too, they've cut stuff from this. I wonder if I can find the original. They've this was just like an upload from the re-upload from Access Hollywood or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's a flashback. Da, 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 da. There's got to be a full version of this because I feel like there's some things missing there. Because from what I watched on that other interview to do the last video, he's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, and it's getting late, and I'm tired. But it's like a delicate balance of like, I know what you want me to say, but this isn't even. I don't believe what I'm having to say for this fucking moment. You know what I mean? It's a PR. He's within a PR cage. You know.
Life goes on.
And thank you, Grace. Yeah, it's like, I think as I'm getting older too, and just, I don't know if there's some connection where if you go through some really fucked up shit in your childhood, you can end up having some little bit more of like a second sight or like an extra knowing or you know what I mean? Like maybe it's just the hypersensitivity and like pattern recognition and just spatial awareness and stuff that you have to employ as a survival mechanism in situations. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But like as far as the gut feelings of getting in this, and like for just like certain moments where he's saying this big valiant, oh, it's so good. He's saying the best fucking thing. He's selling it. He's selling it big time. Performing to the max. And it's making my fucking stomach churn. The energy coming, it's not, what's coming out of him is not matching the fucking words. It's not. And the son, what he's feeling, sitting next to him and having to try to keep his composure for the stupid fucking interview, man. I can't even. My heart couldn't go out to him enough.
On. Life happens. Things flare up.
Life. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not. It's the movie doesn't. It's not happily ever after the movie, but it is hopeful that that Charlie's moving in a good direction. That the father is starting to understand Charlie a little bit better, and I think it's like Nick says, it's a process. It goes on, and you live your life.
Thank you for sharing your story and sharing your film, and congratulations, Nick, on writing a great movie.
Yeah, let's give the credit where the credit's due here. Fuck. Oh my Atlanta. All right, where's the freaking thing here? Yeah, so I guess we'll leave it at that for this evening. If there's any developments, like I'm gonna probably do like an update thing. But I think maybe we'll do another live here and go through that other interview that I had lined up. But we're already almost 3 hours here, so we're gonna call it here in a few. And for you guys too, it's probably getting late, and like I don't know which side of the world you're on, but yeah, that's a good 3 hour chunk that we can call it. But yeah, fair enough. He won't be performing. Yeah, as kind of dark as it is to say, or morbid, or whatever to think, but it's true. And yeah, so by the way, though, also I was looking into the DV thing, and it's saying that it doesn't seem like there was any recent, no credible or public reports. I don't know. I'd have to look into it more. It seems like that it might be that they're referencing the guest house situation, though, where he tore up their guest house a bit. But they framed that too as like, oh, he destroyed their house. Like, no, he was out in the guest house by the pool being a fuck around and getting drunk, and he fucking punched some of the appliances. Like, whatever. It's no worse than what most fucking people do in their wild years, you know? People have their time, and that's just what it is. Not saying that it's okay, but it's in probably best case scenario at that point. I'm sure they're wishing that they just let him destroy the fucking guest house now and let that be it. And not make such a big fuss of that, because now look, maybe he needed to be able to take out some of that rage and anger and pain that Rob so apparently needs aware of and being empathetic to. But it's a grand performance. It feels to me like a grand performance. There was something really fucked up going on there. This poor kid was the fucking scapegoat of the family. It sounds like a narcissistic cult family system if I ever saw one. We got the golden child ended up being the one to find him. Or maybe the other one's the golden child. I don't really know. But the poor kid was still also having to find him. That's still shitty. I don't know. We can see how they're framing it. We can see where they're trying to go with it. But I think there's still going to be a lot more stuff coming out. And it's going to make a whole different... it's just, yeah. the whole different landscape of the whole of Hollywood is what's going to happen. It's going to shift everybody's perspective of everything, I think, in the coming months. Like, I feel like more and more, like I feel like 2025 has just been like the setup to the Great Awakening, and then 2026 is just going to be craziness. It's like people are not going to, I don't know. I think a lot of people are not going to really be able to know what to think or if they're going to even understand what's going on, but it's happening whether we like it or not. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over. It's everywhere. The same rot of everything. It's all the same in every language, in every religion, in every fucking occupation, organization, class, economic level, whatever. Every level of society, there's rot. There's a rot. And we gotta get rid of the infection somehow, and I don't know how else we do that. Because we can't keep letting this happen, obviously. Like, this is pretty fucked up. Like, this is trauma for people. Probably, like, if people grew up, this is like they love the guy and whatever, they love the movies. And how many people is like they loved Stand By Me growing up? That was like their go-to movie. But then you really think about it, and you think about the weird, unnecessary, excruciatingly long scene with a bunch of little boys in tighty whities. Like, that was weird. A lot of kids watching that were like, that's weird. Like, why is that even in the movie? What the fuck? And then you see it repeating over and over and over again in all these other movies. And then some movies that happens in, the director was a convicted predator. So why are we not looking closer at all these other people in their movies? I don't know. I'm not saying anything for sure. I don't know. But there's something darker here. There's got to be. Because why the fuck did somebody do this? Nobody just, like, people just don't kill their parents for no reason. No. Yeah, no, I feel bad for the siblings. 100%. I feel bad that a lot of them probably don't even know what they know and what they don't know based on the degrees of brainwashing, I guess, within a family, or like the sense of allegiance within the system, within the family system. I don't know. It's weird. Families are weird, man. And they'll protect, like, you got people that are going to sooner protect the predator in their family than the little kids in their family. For generations, it's just like this fucking joke. Like, it's a funny joke that the great-grandpa, he just tongue kisses the kids sometimes. It's still funny. Ha ha ha. We forgot to tell you guys about that. Don't worry. Like, you know, or the uncles or the whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think of fucking examples here. But it's like that. You know, like, it's been normalized over the years, and people sooner are protecting the patriarch or whoever of the family that's fucking weird with kids than they do the little kids. And that needs to change also. Like, just in general. Fucking aside from the industry, obviously, you know. But anyways, any more questions, comments, thoughts, concerns? Lodge them now. So I think we're going to shut this down here, and I'm going to try to squeeze in some rest, because, like, I ended up not getting a lot of sleep. I was up pretty late getting the bulk of the research and stuff together for that video that I just put out, and then all day today putting that together. And I still have other stuff that I was trying to get done that I put aside because this all happened. This is how it happens, though. I'll be on a track doing a series or doing something, and then some big fucking thing like this will happen, and I can't ignore it. It's too right in my wheelhouse to ignore it. So, yeah. See, you guys know. Everybody probably has somebody in their family they know that, you know, they tell the kids to go put more clothes on before whoever comes over, or they fucking, like, you know, there's just weird shit that it's just so normal. Instead of just removing that infection. Maybe just remove the infection instead of making excuses. Fucking. Yeah. Sorry again for all the swearing, but this has just got me all worked up. But definitely, yeah, you guys get some rest too. Sorry again for such serious truth bombs tonight. We really went pretty dark, pretty heavy. So I hope you guys are going to be okay after that. Try to like, I don't know, do some yoga or something to release that energy and stress of all that I just poured on you. Jeez. But yeah, thanks for joining. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day if it's going to be daytime for you soon. Because I know some of you got Aussie time. I don't know what time it is in Aussie land. But whatever the rest of the day, night has in store for you. Well, there's nobody's doing it. The Lord ain't doing it for nobody. So I think more people need to just stand up and do more shit and spread the awareness. And there you go. Perfect. Thank you, Streamlabs. That was great. Perfect timing again. The article I kept referencing throughout this stream, and I referenced it in the most recent video. That's the theory I've been formulating based on the repeated patterns. And Rob Reiner was one of the, like I was saying, he was one of the most disturbing examples of what I was pointing out in that article. prior to this situation. Like, not even, it was like a month ago, I think. I'd have to check. I don't know. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, if you're still, it's daytime. It's like noon at night, midnight. It's been a long week. It's been a long time. Been cranking out lots of stuff for you guys and repurposing some of the other content. Trying to get the John Bonet stuff going into just segments, because by the time I get it caught up and my full investigation's done, to be able to do another full documentary, it doesn't make sense. So having it in the episode format makes more sense. So you can check that out. We got the Brittany Murphy stuff. We got all kinds of stuff is happening. And I got a Dark Child Nexus video that I'm going to try to hopefully get out soon too. That's kind of connects to all of this. It's a very similar situation in a way, but different. So yeah, anyways, thank you again. Much love, guys. Stay safe out there. Keep your eyes wide open. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of a good ending here. I don't know. I guess to do the regular ending, though, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the flip side.